Testing new mic position. 1, 2, 3. Suck my dick. You are allowed to say the word wank, don't worry, it's okay. We're gonna do some fiddling with my microphone, because I don't like where it's been sitting, because I haven't been able to see my keyboard. Does this sound okay though? But I already predict that the moment that the screen comes on, you will see my mic stand in the camera, and that's a problem. So we've got to fix that. Cracking open a cold dick with the boys. There's the cat. Oh my god, he's a fucking moron. You can get out of my room. Thank you. Goodbye. Hello folks, welcome to the Rogue Room. I'm Abby back. How's it going? How's this for a mic position? The only problem is it's like right in the way of the camera. And you can't see the portal gun. I'm working on it. Just give me a second. I'm fixing it. He just fucking tore my shoulder up. Don't compliment him. There you go. There's the flex, which you cannot see because I'm wearing a black dress. Alright, give me a second to fix this. Alright? Because this isn't right. This isn't right, friends. This isn't right. It's 9 o'clock at night and I'm going to crack open a can of V.
I see.
And Rooster with the raid. Hello.
Welcome,
how's it going?
Friends.
Let me turn this on for a moment just so we got a little bit. I didn't think to fix my mic positioning up earlier, so we're doing it now. Fuck it, we're doing it live. So I think first of all I need a bit more length. And can I move it up? Thank you so kindly for the raid. How was your stream? What were you getting up to? Tell us all about it. Put up with this for a second and then I'll stop, I promise. How's that? How's the audio on that sound? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you touch it? Get ready, cause here we go. But now, like, I'm too far away from the microphone. I feel like I can't hear how I sound like this. Well, there's your raid lights. It sounds like I was punching. You know, speaking of, I'm about to punch that cat if he keeps jumping on me. So let's just for a moment. Nope, I am locking him out. I'm sorry, no cat tonight. No cat tonight. He's been a cunt. He's been jumping all over me, so no cat. It's a little bit. I sound a bit quiet. Oh, for God's sake. How's that? I mean, if I do that, you can't see the portal gun. I want you to see the portal gun because I like showing off the shit that I've got. Anyway, Rooster, this isn't a full-blown raid sequence until we get party mode. No cat. Fuck him. If all he's going to do is harass me and tear into my lovely new dress, no, fuck him. He can stay out of the room. How are you folks? Because, like, let's try not to show anything here. That most definitely pierced the flesh. Whatever he fucking did, he absolutely cut me just then. He can fuck off. I don't care. I'm not giving him any sympathy right now. How's your day been? Xbox done an update in the middle of a hyperspace jump and the middle of your stream. Oh, that's fucking shit. Well, that's not good. I look very nice, thank you. Thank you kindly. I don't know why I decided to get myself dressed up like this, but I got this. I got this dress today in the mail, which I afterpaid because it was like $30. It was $30, and then I was like, you know what? Let's make it cheaper. I'll pay it $7.50 a week or a fortnight for the next 2 months. So I'm paying $7.50 a fortnight for this dress. There you go. And I thought, you know, it's fucking awesome. There's my mic stand. Look at this thing. Look at... Am I not the very picture of elegance? Holy shit. You can't really see it very well in this lighting, though. Because I've adjusted a few things. I've changed the color balance on my ring light. And, yeah. We're in business. We're in the money. We're chilling. Decided to, you know, bring the vibe down a little bit. Bring the vibe down to a little bit more of a chill vibe. Because I feel like the old light was... That's way too cold, way too harsh. This was where it was before, but it was like this level of fucking brightness. And, oh my god. I put it on the warm setting on my ring light, and then I turned the brightness down a bit. So there we go. I got a nice glow. I'm shimmering, darling. Anyways. Why am I paying a game for... Wait, what? What? Hello, Kaz. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back in. I hope you are well. Oh. So, what are we thinking? What are we discussing? What do we got on our minds? That's what I want to get this out of the way before we start anything. How's everyone been today? Is weed legal? It certainly is in some parts of the world. I wish I could figure that out so that was actually timed correctly. I don't know how I can set that up so it is timed correctly. Paying $7 a fortnight. You know, I find it insulting that the phrase fortnight is now associated with that stupid fucking video game and not the concept of 14 nights. I am insulted and degraded by the presence of that game assassinating my vocabulary. Anyway. AKA 2 weeks. Well, like I said, folks, if you want me to do a fortnight stream, I'll do it. If you can get me partnered by the end of this year. So, if you want to see me play Fortnite, I'll do it if I can get a partner tick by December 31st of this year. I am serious. Let's do it. Let's fucking go, boys. Let's fucking go, boys. I have no idea what that means, Sorcon. I have no idea who that is or what that's about. I get no clue. Genuinely don't know. Probably don't give a fuck, honestly. I do have a few things that are interesting, though. Yes, you did manage to get me more than one level 5 hype train, which resulted in me giving away a copy of Valheim, which, congrats to Fox for winning the draw. I feel like this feels weird because Fox is such a regular here, but Fox only bought one ticket like every other person in the entry, in the raffle did. Everyone only bought one ticket. I said from the beginning, you're only allowed one ticket. But Fox is such a regular here. Now I feel like everyone's going to be looking at me like, oh, you gave it to Fox because Fox is a regular, didn't you, you asshole? It's like, no, I did one ticket. It just happened to be Fox's ticket. I feel like I have to justify this for some reason. Now I look suspicious. We all love Fox, we do. And Fox has been enjoying some Valheim. Valheim is good fun. Actually, on the subject, I don't know why I set this to Wednesday. I should have set this to just like poll or something. But let's take a look at our straw poll, because I haven't checked in on this. It does look like, from what I'm seeing here, that you folks still want to see me play Fallout New Vegas. As of right now. As of right now, tomorrow's stream is looking like a Fallout New Vegas stream. This has been very contentious. It could have been Alien Isolation. Silent Hill 4 actually has quite a few votes, but still not pulling through the lead there. Plus, there are some other games that I'm interested in doing once we get through New Vegas. If we do New Vegas. If we do Alien, we do Alien, which is a significantly shorter game. But maybe if we do New Vegas, we'll just do like the primary stuff, like the main stuff, so that we don't get stuck on like one game forever. Because I know Fallout New Vegas is one of those kind of very big RPGs. That said, I don't know how big Obsidian tends to make their games, so I might be wrong there. It might be a very short experience. Anyone who is familiar with that whole notion can inform me if you would like to. You're thinking cooking a chicken and destroying as eating it. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Go follow Rooster, folks. There we go. Demolish a chicken on stream. I've heard some people, honestly, like, I mean, I gave away a copy of Valheim because we hit a level 5 hype train, which says to me that, you know, quite frankly, I'm gonna get that money back when I get paid by Twitch. The $30 I paid for a copy of Valheim is gonna be massively overruled by the fact that I hit a level 5 hype train in the first place. You know, I think in one of those hype trains, just the bits alone was more than the cost of the game. So, you know, I feel like I can justify it, but I've seen people literally, once they get to affiliate, like, destroying a chicken on stream sounds fucking awesome. But I've heard of some people going out of their way to, like, buy a brand new, like, AAA game, or even as far as, like, get this. I've heard of some people who get to affiliate and then will go as far as raffling off a PlayStation or an Xbox. Not even kidding. And it's like, you hit the 3 average viewers. It's not like it's not justifying giving away a console level of stuff. Do something fun for it for sure, but like, that's a bit of a stretch. Also, let's do a nail check. Are they purple tonight? These are my new nails. Can you see? Does this look purple? I can't tell if this looks purple or not. I redid these. They're matte. They're matte and they're sparkly. They got glitter in them and they're matte. They are not blue. They are not fucking blue. Get your eyes checked. Oh, there we go. Was reading up on Twitter and saw some cunt was having a bitch about people eating on stream. So you know what? I'll eat a fucking chicken on the stream. Movie. Good. I'm glad. My nails are pretty. Oh, and so's my little snake ring. I like my little snack. I'm going to use the snack as a bit of costume in my next video, I think. I can't wait to do this one. I've already plotted out how it's going to go. I just got to finish the script and then we get to recording. And I'm so keen, I'm so excited because this next video is going to feature some costume design, a little bit of, not really set design, but like a backdrop that's actually interesting and different. I'm keen, folks. I'm keen to do this video. I like the idea behind it. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait to get into it. Whole pan of enchilada sounds fucking badass. Last night, me and Jacinta were getting into. We were like ripping into. Hang on a second. So I'm trying to see if I can adjust this a little bit. We were ripping into them nacho chips. We were doing. Now you can't see Vess either. Like, look, you can't see Vess either. Oh, I don't have water. Did anyone redeem a hydrate before? Because I don't have my thing here. Hang on. Let me do this. Let me go get a hydrate thing, because I don't have one. Stay there. Don't go away. Just in time for our evening vodka. Reaper. There you go. How's the lip, by the way? Do you like the lip? I think this is my maroon. This is my maroon lippy. Alright, let's bring that mic back in. So yeah, I'm going to try to figure out a better mic arm position than this. I am such an alcoholic, it's crazy. But honestly, the amount of time that I spend drinking is vastly outweighed, not the amount of time, the amount of alcohol that I have drunk is vastly outweighed by the caffeine that I drink. It's ridiculous. You're only supposed to drink about 400 milligrams of caffeine a day at max. So this has got 155 milligrams in it. One 500 ml can of V, sugar-free. My pre-workout, C4, has about 150 milligrams. So we're already over 300 with just that and a pre-workout. And I had a fairly strong latte from Coles Express, which is probably like a standard coffee is like 40 milligrams. If we were to say this coffee that I had is strong, probably up to 80 milligrams. Yeah, there's this kind of a limit, and I definitely break it on a regular basis. And I'm not a very big girl either, so like, more caffeine's gonna hit me harder. Or at least it should. I think I've developed a habit with it to the point where it doesn't hit me as hard, and that's why I drink so much of it. Because I'll get to like certain points in the day, and I'm just like, okay, I could certainly use about a 6-hour nap right now. I don't. Yes, my gastrointestinal intake. That's what we're talking about right now. So yeah, we had 2 hydrates, didn't we? Yes, we did. So let me get the other one in, because we've got to make sure we stay on top of that as well. So, your friendly neighborhood sword lesbian has something... Hello, Phage, how you doing? Has something mildly interesting. Oh, my glycemic index levels. Oh. Oops. The blanket, was it handmade? I don't know if it's... I mean, probably, maybe. But I ordered it off a website, so I don't know exactly the production process behind it. It's all scrunched up, though. What is this? What is this nonsense? Look at this. There. That's a lot better. Thank you. Ugh. It's the brand nowadays. It's the brand. Not only am I emotionally exhausted, I'm also physically exhausted. That's why I'm drinking coffee. It was probably the cat, yeah. Let's be honest. Or maybe I sat down on my bed. Jacinta actually slept under that blanket last night. She took off with it. It's like it's not an actual sleeping blanket. It's a decorative piece of garbage. Oh, you like the outfit? We should do another fit check. Just because I want to gloat because I like this thing. I wasn't supposed to be wearing the tights with it, but... yeah. Why am I so tall? Look at this. It's an elegant night dress kind of thing. You go out wearing this. You know where I go out wearing this kind of stuff? You know the kind of places that I go to when I go out wearing my fancy nightwear? To the gas station to grab a couple of cans of energy drink. That's it. I get dolled up like this just to sit in front of a camera for 3 hours and do nothing. The life. You have a nice glow-in-the-dark dino duvet cover. Well, yeah, I could go to your mum's house if you want. You know, in case you wanted a new stepmom. For God's sake. The bloody... You gotta see the portal gun. Fuck Vess, she's not doing anything at the moment. She's been fed. So she's lost interest in being present at the moment. She's off hiding. Minding her business. It's probably actually getting too cold for her lately, so I doubt we'll see her again for a while. I bet you she's probably going to stay next to her little heat pad over there in the corner, maybe even hibernate. I dare say. Funny how some people say house as arse. House. Like, go over to my friend's house. Revamping your diet for a bit of a kappa moment. It's been a bit of a kappa moment. What does that mean? Also, I do know you were talking about crop tops. Fuck yes, crop tops. Can we get some crop tops in the chat? I want more crop tops. I live for those fucking things. But like I said, it's getting too cold for it. Although, I won't lie, I wore them today. I was doing deadlifts today. And, because I take excessive amounts of photos of myself these days. I naturally took photos of myself in the gym. I think I might have shown... yeah, I posted this on my... Instagram story. Not on my Instagram story, on my Twitter fleets and stuff. There's me in my crop top at the gym. It's supposed to be showing off my abs, but you can't see it. I like my abs. Abby's abs. If you don't take a picture of the gym, did you really get... Yeah, swolfies are necessary. No one's going to believe that you go to the gym unless you regularly take photos in the gym. You know? Have a big thing for AMABs and crop tops, so you want to be one. There you go. Just like, can we just get dudes in crop tops? I rarely see dudes in crop tops. Just bring that shit back. That's what we want. I think there's actually some photos of my dad in a crop top in like the 80s. You know? More people in crop tops. They were originally men's fashion. There you go. There we go. There's a thing. You work out as walking up some stairs. You got to get more exercise in than that. Free speech threatened in Mississippi? What? I hadn't heard anything about that, but there is this thing. There is this one regrettable thing that we are seeing at the moment. I don't think there's any articles on this bill just yet, but if we go over here for a moment, there is actually this, which is very, very, very disturbing. Texas Senate Bill 1646, relating to the protection of children, including the definition of child abuse and the prosecution of the criminal offense of abandoning or endangering a child, by Perry et al. A bill to be entitled relating to the an act relating to the protection of children, including the definition of child abuse and the protection of the criminal offense of abandoning or endangering a child, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Texas, subdivision 1, blah 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 blah. Abuse includes the following acts or omissions by a person: mental or emotional injury to a child that results in an observable and material impairment to the child's growth, development, or psychological functioning. Causing or permitting the child to be in a situation... Let me zoom this in a bit so you can actually read it. To be in a situation in which the child sustains a mental or emotional injury that results in observable or material impairment in the child's growth, development, or psychological functioning. Physical injury that results in substantial harm to the child or genuine threat. Blah, 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 substantial risk of harm. There's a specific point in here that I want to find. Failure to make a reasonable effort to prevent an action, blah, blah, blah. Sexual conduct harmful to a child's welfare. Failure to make a reasonable effort to prevent sexual conduct harmful to a child. Compelling or encouraging the child to engage in sexual conduct as defined by section 43.01. Let me find it here. Causing, permitting, encouraging. Yes. That's... Yeah, no. Ew. Not going to read that. Let me see here. Is it in here? Or is this the part that's been... Here we go. This is the part that we were looking for. For a person other than a person lawfully discharging his or her duties under a license issued under Chapter 551 Occupations Code, administering or supplying or consenting to or assisting in the administering or supplying of a puberty suppression prescription drug or cross-sex hormone to a child other than an intersex child for the purpose of gender transitioning or gender reassignment, or performing or consenting to the performance of a surgery or another medical procedure on a child other than an intersex child for the purpose of gender transitioning or gender reassignment. 3A, intersex child means a child who is younger than 18 years of age and is either has an inborn chromosomal, gonadal, genital, or endocrine characteristics, or a combination of those characteristics that are not suited to the typical definition of male or female, or are atypical for the sex determined. Or B, is considered a biomedical professional to have inborn yada yada yada. You get the point. So what does this mean? This little bill here, apparently, from what we can read, is about the protection of children. Fox, there you go. Is about the protection of children in Texas, and what they're going for here is the ambition of this particular bill. Let me see if we can find the actual section. Here we go. Section 2 Penal Code is amended by the subsections and adding subsection C2 as follows. Blah, 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 blah. That's just about intersex kids, just describing them. So, here's the bit that we want. Sorry, I'm just reading through it, just skimming through it. Flex. Us. I probably shouldn't do that in the stress too much, actually. And thank you for highlighting my latest video. The person administers... So, It is presumed that if that a person for the purposes of subsection C, it is presumed that a person engaged in conduct that places a child in imminent danger of death, bodily injury, or physical or mental impairment if the person administers or supplies or consents to or assists in the administering of, supplying of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones. Basically what they're saying with this bill, and it just goes on and on with more of this, the highlighted sections are what you want. You can look at it yourself if you would like to. The issue with this particular bill that Texas is putting into place essentially means that children can be taken away from their parents if their parents are gender affirming and seek medical care for those transgender children. Is the point that I was trying to get across there, but legislative texts are demonstrably difficult to read and interpret, and that's on purpose. It's a lot of fluffy words to make sure they cover all their ground. But that's essentially what's happening here, is they are encouraging your child to transition if they are transgender or non-binary or, well, yeah, like, let's just stick with that for now. They are trying to turn it into a criminal offense that can have your children taken away from you, which is a very, very disturbing thing. But as yet, as far as I know, let me have a look here really quickly. If you would let me, please. Look at this. Here we go. No, it's SB 1646. Let's see if there is not encouraging, allowing. The phrasing they're using would be encouraging, obviously, for various reasons. Here we go. I've actually found an article, finally. But all I could find before, I found this hours ago. And there wasn't any actual articles, discussing the topic. Merely tweets, and I couldn't really, use tweets as news coverage of this particular thing, but we can look up like Chase Strangio's tweet, for example, where they talked about it. Thank you for the posture check and the hydration. But yeah, like the bill in Texas is essentially saying that if you allow your transgender child to transition, then you will potentially be liable to have your kids taken away from you. Which is a thing they do to people in genocidal situations, is they try to take children away from their parents. The Aussies did that back in the colonial days to the Aborigines. Anyway, it's that Miss Abigail Beck in her delightful night dress. Going out gown thing. I don't know what this is, but anyway. Let's continue. Chilling Texan bill defines parents of trans kids consenting to healthcare as child abusers. It is a sad story, but it is necessary. Let's clarify, this shit is necessary. I talk about this stuff, I talk about the bad shit, because I need you to be aware of it. I want us to be fucking aware of it. I want us to know this is happening. Because if I don't talk about it, shit doesn't change. That's my main stance, right? It's like, I know bad shit's happening in the world, and I would like it to get better, so I tell everyone that I possibly can. Anyways. Let's change the title really quickly. Okay, so let's drag this over here. A chilling new bill in Texas would define the parents of trans kids who consenting to their affirming healthcare as child abusers. Texas Senate Bill 1646 was filed on the 11th of March 2021 and is sponsored by 13 Republican state senators. The bill states that a person will be considered guilty of child abuse by consenting to or assisting in the administering or supplying of a puberty suppression prescription drug or cross-sex hormone to a child other than an intersex child. That's an interesting distinction there. For the purpose of gender transitioning or gender reassignment. Or performing or consenting to the performance of surgery or another medical procedure on a child other than an intersex child for the purpose of gender transitioning or gender reassignment. So, it's interesting that they've decided to specifically clarify except with intersex children. And also, again, they're using this particular language about the idea that transgender teenagers are having surgeries, which is, simply not happening. Again, it's false, it's a lie, it's a falsehood that they're using to push this anti-trans agenda. If things keep getting worse in the US, you may have to move to Australia, so start killing your spiders, Radio Cat. How was your day? My day was alright, MD. How you doing? Texas is being horrible, I know. Yeah, how the heck is it abusing? Like, why the heck is it abusing? The reason that they think it's abusive, the reason that they think this particular kind of thing is abusive, is because, quite explicitly, they don't see they see it as encouraging, quite frankly, some kind of a trans agenda. I'm not even joking here. They think that being transgender is a political ideology and immoral and unethical and all of these kinds of things. Like they believe that the parents of transgender children are enforcing some kind of weird, abnormal behavior on them, and thus they see that as a psychological attack on the child, and that thus they can justify the idea of child abuse, is what we're dealing with here. It's demonstrably awful. They want to wipe intersex people off the map so that it's more reasonable to attack trans people. No, they're specifically excluding intersex children from this particular example. Like, so they're saying don't give puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones to trans kids, but intersex kids are fine. And similarly, don't do the surgeries on trans kids, which they're not doing anyway. But doing it on intersex kids is fine for whatever reason. Like, all of these situations, this particular scenario is child abusers. This particular scenario is child abusers projecting onto the parents of accepting, projecting onto the accepting parents of transgender kids. So saying we're not the child abusers, they are the ones who are saying, yes, my child is trans and I support them. They're saying that those people are the ones abusing children when this behavior right here is abusive. For example, if there was an intersex child and they said specifically that they want to remain intersex, they don't want to have any gonadectomy or whatever it might be that might, fix them, make them normal, so to speak. If an intersex kid decides they want to keep that, these kind of people would encourage that kind of genital mutilation on that child so that they would be normal and thus fit into male-female, Yeah, they want intersex kids to hurry up and fit back into the binary. What's this one? HRW report, I want to be... What's this? Let's have a look at this real quick. And we'll come back to the Pink News article just briefly. I want to be like nature made me. Medically unnecessary surgeries on intersex children in the US. Here we go. Alright, we'll have a look at that in a moment. Okay, coming back to this. This bill places Texas parents consenting to gender-affirming care for their trans kids alongside those who create child porn. Yes, quite literally, that was in the bill. I don't know if you caught it, but I skimmed over that section that outright mentioned something about, and here's Chase Strangio's tweet on the subject. They are trying to, this is the thing, they are pushing for the most outwardly ridiculous angle they can go for, associating the parents of consenting and affirming, for God's sake, consenting and affirming parents to transgender children are being lumped in with those who create child porn, those who sexually abuse children, those who give illegal drugs. Like, they are trying their absolute damnedest to make the parents of trans kids look as vile and detestable as possible and thus justify taking their kids away. And why do you need to justify taking their kids away? There is no justification. They want to hide all the evidence of intersex kids because they don't want anything outside the norm. Because if they have to accept intersex people, then there's no reason for them to accept trans people, and they don't want to do that exactly. They're targeting transgender as the weakest link in the LGBTQ chain. That's what it is, essentially. Gay marriage being legalized makes them less vulnerable to legal BS, etc. It's really, really absurdly ridiculous. Trying to push the narrative of parents taking their kids into the backyard. And yeah, that's what they're acting like. They're acting like these parents are almost, encouraging these children in a subconscious and manipulative manner to make them transition, which is not happening. I see the 50-year-old trans man testifying before the Alabama State House, or was it Arkansas? I don't recall. It's almost like Tucker Carlson talking about the pronoun she and je. You never heard anybody use those. Once again, the biggest anomaly. Yeah, that's the thing. Is they'll take the most absurd notion possible. Again, we come around to the trans women in bathrooms thing. They'll always go the route of saying stuff like, oh, what if you go into the woman's bathroom and you see a man in a dress standing up to pee? Women's toilets have stalls with doors that close. It's ridiculous. They come up with these ridiculous concepts to justify their hatred and their bigotry. They make up stories. They literally make things up to justify their political stances. Penalties for child abuse in Texas include jail time, fines, and removal of the child, which is the important part. ACLU staff attorney Chase Strangio wrote on Twitter, this bill in Texas, SB 1646, would remove trans kids from their homes if a parent affirms their gender. Truly barbaric. The bill had its first hearing on Monday, the 12th of April, and was referred to the Senate State Affairs Committee. A date has not yet been scheduled for its first public hearing. In response, the Texas charity Doctors for Change wrote an open letter to State Senator Brian Hughes, who chairs the Senate State Affairs Committee, condemning the bill and its implications for both parents and healthcare providers. Let's have a look at this. Oh, okay. This is a petition thing, I guess. You can attach your name to it. We are writing on behalf of Doctors for Change and its more than 1,000 healthcare provider members from across Texas to vehemently oppose SB 1646. We care for Texans of all ages, including transgender and non-binary children, youth, and adults, and we are appalled by the blatant intention of SB 1646 to characterize the provision of our compassionate, evidence-based care as child abuse, and to levy criminal penalties against providers who are putting the health and well-being of parents first, as it is our duty to do, as well as parents and guardians, who are properly ensuring their children receive necessary care. If enacted, SB 1646 would place yet another obstacle in the path to accessing affirming, culturally competent medical care for transgender and non-binary children and youth. We cannot let this happen in Texas. So there's a whole... Here we go. Should we read the whole thing? We'll read the whole thing. All Texans, including trans and non-binary children and youth, deserve the right to healthy lives, which includes both psychological and physical well-being. This can include receiving medical care to delay and alleviate the rapid worsening of gender dysphoria that occurs with puberty and the irreversible development of secondary sex characteristics, giving providers and patients the necessary time to determine the best course forward. The care provided to children and youth with gender dysphoria is tailored to their specific needs by a team of highly trained providers, including pediatricians, mental health specialists, endocrinologists, surgeons, and allies and supporters, including parents and guardians. Each provider plays a role in ensuring the health of the child is based on established standards of care and the peer-reviewed medical literature. Particularly harmful is the collateral result of SB 1646 that would mandate any healthcare provider report minors receiving certain care, which would irreparably damage the trust and confidentiality of patient-provider relationships. Honestly, you hear what's going on? We're talking about the bill SB 1646 in Texas going on right now. Which may lead to transgender kids being stolen from their parents. And honestly, Fallen, think about that phrase for a minute. Hide trans youth if you have to. Think about that idea for a second. Can you think of other times in history when certain types of undesirable people had to be hidden in order to survive? Ding, 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 ding. Like, can you just... Are there any points that are coming to mind, per chance, when the undesirables had to go hide under floorboards and shit like that, just so they wouldn't get killed off? Rounded up Jewish people during the Nazi regime. Yeah. Yeah, but like realistically, too many instances in history. This is not a new thing. And it's always like it's a new minority that they pick at. And this time they found a really, really small minority that is regrettably... They found a really small minority that is regrettably easy to target because of how small they are in the grand scheme of things. They are very small, very easy to target minority, very easy to demonize minority. Stolen generation. Aboriginals, exactly. Yeah. Matriarchal Jew, can we draw the line at that comparison? It's a valid comparison, honestly. I'm not saying that this is outright Nazi Germany shit, but this is, like, if you use the phrase, hide trans youth, we shouldn't have to, is the problem. The moment we have to start hiding certain groups of people, that is inherently very fashy. You know, that we are leaning into that. Jeremy, welcome to the Rogue Room, how you doing? Where's Gina Carano? Filming a movie for Ben Shapiro. But yeah, it's not just Nazi Germany, it's happened in other situations. Odd nail out gets hammered, I suppose. Yeah. Understandable, Damasio. But yeah, that sort of situation has happened on numerous occasions, and we shouldn't have to hide people. We should not have to hide people. It shouldn't be a thing we should have to worry about. It shouldn't be that certain people there are numerous discussions, especially around the Arkansas situation. Yeah, it was Arkansas, wasn't it? Yeah. Where, you know, families are saying to themselves, well, you know, my child has put roots down here in our hometown. They've got friends, yada, yada, yada. And all of a sudden, these families are looking at the idea of picking up and moving and uprooting their entire life and cutting off all their friendships and relationships because of these bills that are being enforced and imposed that are threatening the lives of their children, their trans children. So here we go. The letter continued, we care for Texans of all ages, including trans and non-binary children. We went over that. The group also pointed out that because of mandatory reporting of child abuse, the bill would mandate any healthcare provider report minors receiving certain care, which would irreparably damage the trust and confidentiality of patient-provider relationships. Doctors for Change said it strongly urged committee members to reject the harmful bill. We can only hope. We can really only hope. And if you're in Texas, if you're in America or whatever, write your state senators or whoever it is that can have an influence over this bill to just push it out of the fucking legislative process altogether. During the bombing of Darwin, we should have hidden the Aboriginal children, but they were sent to churches. Howdy, Sammy. How's it going? I needed to look up the bombing of Darwin. God damn it, I sniffle so much. I hate it. Medically unnecessary... So like, we're just going to continue on this for a minute. I'm going to continue on this subject for a minute. This report contains graphic depictions of traumatic experiences. Intersex people in the US are subjected to medical practices that can inflict irreversible physical and psychological harm on them starting in infancy, harms that can last throughout their lives. Like we said before, curiously, the bill itself explicitly says, you know, we're going to prevent people who are trans and non-binary from taking puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones and surgeries unless they are intersex. Again, this all comes back around to that idea that Western civilization, by and large, wants there to be a sex binary, despite the fact that clearly the sex binary is not normal, judging by all the science we have available to us. So to try and enforce that for ridiculous reasons, for ridiculous social conventions, is bullshit, like Kez said. It's bullshit. Reading about Aboriginal participation in the World Wars, they did a lot, especially in World War II. I have not read that. I would like to read about that. Yeah, Western civilization. Anywho's. What's this you've sent me, Sammy? I'm not watching that. Honestly, unironically, I've heard of that video. I don't want to watch it. It sounds fucking stupid. I'm not a fan of it just on hearing about it.
With the age of 55.
Here we go. Let's have a look at this. This is relevant. Trans man's powerful speech against anti-trans bill. This was as of the 27th of last month.
At the age of 55, I came out. And I discovered that God didn't make a mistake. God made me the way I am so that I can understand and help and mentor these kids, because I don't want any of them to ever go through what I did.
Well, I was watching it until you interrupted now this. Is that just a straight video?
I was born in St. Vincent's in 1955 under the name Sandy K. Sarlo and the gender female. When I was 8 years old, Senator...
Can I just say for a moment, looking at him, would you ever have guessed he was trans if he hadn't outright told you? This is the issue that I have with transphobes with this discussion regarding trans men, trans women. There are so many people, so many trans people, and like this comes around to the idea of passing, but quite frankly, at the end of the day, like passing is a bullshit concept, it really is. But there are so many trans men and so many trans women that if you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known, unironically. And I think one of the major conceptions that those who are against trans people have, it's either A, the concept of the trap, or B, the idea that they're going to be these like absolute freak shows that look like some kind of androgynous mix of male and female and yada yada yada. Like, you get the idea I'm going for there.
I told my parents that God had made a big mistake. To be fair to my parents, the year was 1963. their reaction was to send me to ballet lessons and put me in more dresses. I tried very hard to conform to who I wasn't. But by the age of 22, I couldn't take it anymore. I can't describe to you the pain a transgender person goes through having to live in the wrong body. At 22, I stepped in front of a dump truck just hoping that God would end it all. Luckily, he failed. I eventually got married, had 2 children, and when they were grown, they came to me one day and said, and I had never said anything to anyone else since then, they said, "Mom, if you want to transition, we fully support you." So at the age of 55, I came out. And I discovered that God didn't make a mistake. God made me the way I am so that I can understand and help and mentor these kids, because I don't want any of them to ever go through what I did.
Oppose the Arkansas bill that would ban anyone under 18 from receiving gender-affirming medical care. The state's Public Health, Welfare and Labor Committee advanced the bill and urged the full Senate to pass it, which it has if we have been keeping up to date on the situation in Arkansas. Yeah, this is disturbing. There's been a record number of anti-trans bills in the US in 2021. Yeah, the bill passed, so fuck that. Fuck Arkansas. 80 plus anti-trans bills already introduced into the legislative session. Fucking Christ, dude. That is disturbing and unsettling. Why does the video keep going for... Okay, I think that's just an ad at the end of it or whatever it is. Or like they're talking about the Now This brand. I don't know. Anyway. That's woeful. It's worrisome. And that's the thing. It's like there are numerous stories about this whole kind of thing. There was the story from Brandon Baldwin, like we talked about, how he was talking about his daughter. He went before Congress or whatever it was. And outright stated, you know, his daughter had been experiencing severe dysphoria. And in his words, he was like, "I had a child who did not smile." And then the moment his daughter was allowed to affirm herself, allowed to dress the way she wanted, allowed to play the way she wanted, allowed to be on the girls' volleyball team or what have you, suddenly she was a happy kid. Suddenly she was at peace with herself, you know? And like he stated in that video, I spent 30-something years, not him. I spent 30-something years pretending to be someone I wasn't and playing the role that wasn't right for me. Until I came out, and now I actually feel happy with myself. It's crazy how that works. And the only thing that people who are pushing for these bills want is to just make those specific people unhappy because of some moral quandary they have with the idea of someone not being their assigned gender at birth. They believe that the roles that are assigned to us are somehow divinely orchestrated. It's either divinely orchestrated or they believe that it's socially orchestrated, like we have to be in that binary. And there's no real solid justification for it. Like anarcho-anachronism. I love that name. That's fucking awesome. And Luca, welcome to the Rogue Room, folks. How you going? Yes, it's very important to be the real you. It's absolutely very important to be the real you. And we have lived through I haven't lived through this. But, you know, you think about all of the people throughout history who've been trans and have not been able to fulfill the role that feels right for them because of living under regimes that would simply not allow it. You know. Gonna head off. Rightio, Kaz. Have a good one. Thanks so kindly for hanging out here. It absolutely means a ton to a person to be able to be in touch with themselves. To be able to really earnestly and honestly feel what was I saying? Like, it means so much for a person to be their authentic, genuine self. And I think a lot of people do not feel their genuine, authentic self in a lot of ways. Conservatism always hated authenticity. Yeah, it has. It's honestly, this is why I have said this before. Conservatism leans fascist. It inherently does, because fascism is at its root about control. It's about keeping people in line. It's about it's authoritarianism, really. Conservatism leans towards authoritarianism, I should say. The notion that there needs to be strict, rigid categories that people fit into and you're not allowed to deviate from those. It's not outright at that point, but it's certainly getting there. Conservatives in the US live within their own echo chamber. They certainly do. I'll take a hug. Hugs are good. No change or progress. There you go, Fox. Yeah. Like, the Texas stuff is just fucking exhausting. The Arkansas stuff, like, why are there so many... Like, I honestly feel... And, like, somebody made a good argument that were these anti-trans bills being enacted under Trump, if Trump had gotten a second term, I'm not justifying the idea of him having a second term, but if Trump had gotten a second term, I get the suspicion a lot more people would be a lot more angry about these bills if it was under the Trump administration instead of the Biden administration. And a lot of these bills seem as though they're almost in direct contradiction to Biden's own outright LGBTQ plus positive stances. Yeah, they're still mad they can't own people and take it out on everyone. Absolutely. Conservatives live within their own manufactured outrage machine and slowly go insane, scared at shadows. Yes, indeed they do. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to watch it unfold. But the scary thing is that a lot of these people have notable social presences, social media presences. A lot of them have... there are a lot of these people who have huge platforms and makes matters worse. These bills are only coming out because Biden won. You think so? I think they would have happened anyway, especially when you consider the fact that Trump actually outright spoke on the idea that, excuse me, especially the fact that Trump himself outright came out and stated his support of the movements that are anti-trans athletes specifically. He's like, we're going to get those boys out of girls' sports and out of girls' bathrooms and all this kind of shit. He outright stated it. So, of course, the far right are doing everything in their power to push anti-trans agenda. Because Trump, for all of his failings, is a very good cult leader. He is, outright. A very good cult leader. Your grandma is you're not using this term to joke. Honest to God, fucking boomer. She's anti-LGBTQ, a bit anti-mask. That's not good. Made you feel bad when you found out she was going to therapy. That's awful. Jesus. And a few other things. This is why you don't go out of your way to see her a lot. Thank God you have a job. So she knows you're busy a lot now. Well, that's good. That's a relief at least. It's the same with your older brother who watches Sky News but thinks everything else is left garbage. And he took it personally when you said, sure, anything is left of Sky News because it's... well, yeah. Sky News is literally far right. Yeah, what politics is in TOS? I mean, if it's in the what does the TOS say about politics? Vosh and Hassanabi have channels around politics. Yeah, true. Hassan is like one of the biggest politics channels on the platform, and he streams on this platform. It's funny. Well, I think Sky News would be the Fox News of Australia. Yeah. I think there is a category for it. Yeah, but I don't stream into the politics category because we don't just do politics. So we do. I was actually going to do a bit of entertainment stuff tonight because there was like just this mildly entertaining story to deviate for a second. Well, we won't do it now. We'll do it later. This is an opinion piece actually about Tucker Carlson. We were going to talk about him briefly, but I did want, for a second, I wanted to jump off this. Let me see for a sec. So Macaulay Culkin has a kid now, apparently. This is not politics related, but I thought this was amusing. It's like, I had no idea. Apparently Brenda Song, I forget what she was in. What was she in? Disney Channel star Brenda Song are officially parents to Dakota Song Culkin. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, apparently this just happened recently. It's like, Macaulay Culkin's a, Sweet Life chick. Macaulay Culkin's a weird case. I don't know what he's been, since being a child prodigy in the acting scene, I suppose. What's it called? A child star? He sort of vanished for a while and then just largely just drifted for a long time. And he's come more into the spotlight recently in the past few years. And now, here he is. He's got a baby now, that's a thing. Grandma is also someone who would tell everyone in the family any information. This is why your mum has kept your mental health stuff a secret and other stuff about me. Oh my gosh, that's awful. Got pretty hard into drugs. Fucking awesome. I want to get hard into drugs. But I didn't even know, I didn't even know he was in a relationship. I mean, I suppose that's the thing though, right? It's like, we don't need to know everyone's personal life. We don't need to know everyone, especially with regards to celebrities. We don't need to know what they're doing, what their dating life is like. Why is that so dim now? There we go. Partner met him in New Brunswick, New Jersey, when he was in a Velvet Underground cover band called the Pizza Underground, where they did pizza parody. That's awesome. See you, but are you leaving, Demacia? I love drugs too. I take drugs every day for my tits. That's all I take them for, is for the tits. Don't know what to tell you. Prime Gaming comes with a free sub once a month though. Oh, hey, hang on, Miss Mix Botwick. I'm misgendering my bot again. Listen here, you little shit. No, you don't. What the hell? It's still saying the wrong. It's doing the wrong name. I do not appreciate that, Mix Botwick. How do I find the fucking thing? Jesus Christ. Prime. There we go. I haven't edited that one. Submit. Do that again. Do that again. If you want to subscribe, it's actually twitch.tv/sub/roguebx, not roguebxtch. If you click on that link right there, it takes you to this page where you can subscribe, or you can gift like 100 subs for $900 if you want to do that. It's always an opportunity to gift your favorite streamer 100 subs. That's not completely unreasonable or anything. Jesus Christ, who does that? I'm sure somebody would do that. Not for me, but you know. Talking to the non-follower with an animal. Oh, that person. Okay. If you were ever that fucking rich, don't do it. It's a bad idea. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. I feel like it should be like... I know the reason that people are coming in here calling me bro all the time, and it's because, quite frankly, they're 12-year-olds on a platform that has an age limit of 13 or older, so get off the platform, you little edgelord shits. Guy who made an account 3 hours ago because they know they have nothing valid to say. It sucks. It sucks for them. It must genuinely suck for them to just have nothing to say. No, you know, if you shone a flashlight in one ear, it'd come out the other side. Because there's no thoughts in their head. It's just a big empty space. I might change this actually. Back to this one. There we go. I'm a little bit more natural looking now. That was really too warm. Anyway. Oog confused. Oog throw rock. That's basically it. I mean, who allowed Neanderthals to create Twitch accounts? I feel like that shouldn't be a thing, considering they're all dead. But anyway, they're about as dead as Prince Philip. Do we have any confirmation that that Prince Philip wasn't a Neanderthal? He was certainly old enough. Hello, Jonas. How's it going? They're literally a minority. Well, I mean, no. Technically, if they're all dead, wouldn't that make them a majority? Considering there's a whole lot more people that have been dead than there are. Oh no, hang on. Actually, maybe that's wrong. That might be wrong, actually. They're such a minority, they're all dead. I'm actually not certain on the... we might have more people alive today than have ever died. Does anyone have statistics for that? How would you know? How would you test this? Prince Philip, was he in Lord of the Rings? He wasn't in the movies. Prince Philip was in the story that was originally adapted into the Lord of the Rings. No comment, chick. Thank you for the raid. Let's get some raid hype going on. Can we get some kind of raid hype in the chat? I will let you. I'll let that be at your discretion. Whatever the heck the raid hype is. I just know I do this party mode nonsense. Hello, John Gazebo. Hello, everyone. How was your stream? What were you streaming? Tell us all about it. How was it going? 8 billion modern Homo sapiens. That is more people who are roughly like we are now, first walked the Earth 50,000 years ago. Since then, more than 108 billion members of our species have ever been born. Okay, there we go. Nico Girl, welcome to the Rogue Room. How's it going, friendos? What's the dealio? Camacho, welcome to the Rogue Room. 100 billion people have died so far. Well, obviously, we need to get to more than 100 billion people alive so we can have more people alive than there ever were dead. That'd be pretty poggers. Streaming drama through no fault of your own. How did you manage that? Up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. What's going on? We're now in party mode. We're now in raid mode. I appreciate it so much. I hope your stream went delightfully well. And I'm sitting here drinking an energy drink at 10 o'clock at night. I'll be here all night explaining it to you if you wanted to know what was going on. Fun. Super cancelled. You called out a big cis streamer. Good. Fuck him. His stands are kind of mad. Oh gosh. That sounds like a nightmare. Goodness me. Peachy, welcome to the Rogue Room. I kind of... Yeah. I don't know what to say to that scenario. Sounds very, very complicated. Did he do a racism? Who called me? Oh yeah, I'm cancelled for doing a racism against Neanderthals, by the way, for the record. I did a racism against Neanderthals, so I'm no longer allowed to have a platform. I have to admit my my own cancellation and just disappear, dissolve into nothingness now. What I need to do is take a screenshot of my room with me not in the chair, so I can do a slow transition fade out with me just not here, and it'd be amusing. There's a gig. There's a bit that I could do. There's a bit. I did hit the gym today. I was actually going to talk about it briefly. Was going to discuss deadlifts, but we'll come back around to that. Anywho, looking at caves and am I welcome to go caving? I want to go exploring some caves. COVID has not even touched Black Death yet in count, hasn't it? Well, we're not really in the Black Death, though, are we? We were talking about overall, like, death overall of human history, which is a lot of people who are dead. But that's not really, but yeah, we did deadlifts. I did deadlifts this morning. I was very concerned about them, actually. I have a problem with deadlifts. I'll say this right now. I have a deadlifting problem at the present, wherein I psych myself out when I get to, let me think. When I get to a point where I can lift the bar and it's heavy and it's exhausting and it's daunting and it's an actual challenge. Let me just fix this up a little bit. Anyway, yeah, we can hide in Plato's cave. There we go. Yeah, I can lift a certain weight. I can lift certain weights. Kiara, thank you for the raid. We'll just go back to raid mode then. Fuck it.
Friends.
We'll come back around to deadlift discourse. Don't worry. They are scary. Deadlifts are very scary, and I say this as someone who has hurt my back twice on deadlifts. Thank you for the raid, Kiara. What were you streaming tonight? Tell us all about it. Tell us all about it. Lynn the Flareon, welcome to the Rogue Room. So yeah, 25 million died in Black Death, just under 3 million in COVID. So we're not in Black Death, we're in COVID. We still want to stop COVID from killing more people. I don't see your point. Your referral just came in, fuck yes. A war nun. A war nun. Is that how I say that? Welcome to the Rogue Room. Oh, what's happening in Texas? We'll come back around to that. We've discussed it already, but we'll come back around to it. Well, basically, they've enacted another piece of anti-trans legislation in the United States. It's awesome. Awesome in the bad way. Awesome in the fact that you can observe it and you're in awe at the fact that it's happening. A warn one. There we go. Thank you. They are going to be taking away transgender children from gender-affirming parents. Basically. Very, very bad. Very bad. Awful bad. Very bad thing. Not good. Very not good. But yeah. And it passed. Much like the Arkansas bill. Oh my god. Cannot stand America. Don't move to America. Talked about trans-friendly streamers in the first day of Ramadan. Oh, interesting. A Twitch streamer you respect is being doxxed. Well, that's not fucking good. Why would you dox people? That's not a nice thing to do to a person. It isn't okay, yeah. The current wave of anti-trans legislation in the United States is absolutely detestable. Absolutely detestable. Sorry, I keep having to clear my throat. And I don't know what I can do. Is this their way to get liberals out of Texas? It might be. You would hope, people in Texas might get word of it. But the thing is, I dare say there's probably a lot of people who don't. I dare say there's a lot of people in Texas who just don't. I mean, people in general who just don't care about the topic. We need more allies, and unfortunately, we just don't have enough. It seems like, because all these bills just keep getting through, and not enough people are standing up to these bills. Not enough people are contacting their state legislators and saying, no, this is not the way that this should go. This is not representative of the population. I dare say there's enough people in states like Texas to outright, if they had the chance, vote against these kinds of things if they had the opportunity, but they don't. Joe Rogan and Alex Jones are headquartered yeah, that's true too. That's true too. And notable transphobes on that note. Outright transphobes. Where is Sith Lord Sandra Bullock to weed out the wicked in Texas? Yes, please. She isn't going to be streamed today because she's being harassed. That's awful. That's genuinely awful. I can't imagine being the kind of person who would go out of their way to harass a streamer especially about their personal life. And yeah, we were talking earlier about the notion of taking kids away is outright genocidal. What's the title? Did you miss something? Well, no, quite literally, Texas is kidnapping trans kids in the sense that they are now criminalizing in Texas the idea of parents who are gender affirming to their transgender children. They're trying to justify it as child abuse. They're trying to say it's child abuse, and thus they're able to have the state come in and take kids away who are transgender. And that is a genocidal move because that's happened numerous times. We talked about it. Is that what the stolen generation with the Aboriginal situation was? Is that what the stolen generation was about? Or is that a different thing? I can't recall. I know the phrase the stolen generation, and it sounds like the kidnapping of Aboriginal children, which was a thing that the colonizers of Australia did. They did outright steal Aboriginal kids because, the whole idea was, at the time, to reduce the population of the Aboriginal people. It's about eugenics at the end of the day, yes. And just phasing out any undesirables in society. So, how is it child abuse? Kids have a right to choose just as much as adults do. Let's clarify how they think it's child abuse. They don't see transgender children as having made the decision themselves. They have decided that transgender children must have been psychologically manipulated by their woke lefty parents into accepting the trans agenda, and thus the kids are being transed or something like that. Some absurd notion, which is what they're trying to sell Texans on. They're going to try to sell other people on. The idea that trans kids are the product of abusive parents who, I guess, want to have a flashy new type of child, a trans kid, because it's trendy, despite the fact that trans people are uniformly being absolutely legislatively phased out of existence, and we are an extreme minority that's probably only getting smaller because all of this kind of legislation is inherently oppressive. And thus a lot of people are going to see this and keep their gender identity to themselves and not transition. So, I wish we were trendy. That'd be cool. But the whole idea of anyone transing to be a trender, to be trendy, is ridiculous. In the same way, it's like when they used to say that gay people choose to be gay. It's like, why would I choose to be someone who has the threat of potentially having their head stomped in by a gang of homophobes? Why would I opt into that? Why would I choose that life? It's honestly like my mother said recently. She asked me the question, jokingly, why would you want to be a woman? Because I was complaining about losing strength. And it's like, well, that's a good point, though, too. It's like, if I was genuinely a man, and I had chosen this, I would have been much better off not choosing this. I was presenting as a cisgender, heterosexual man. I had all the and, you know, throw white on top of it, but I didn't choose that. I had all the privilege in the world, and I threw away a significant chunk of it to be a queer woman. Right? To be a transgender, lesbian woman. I just tossed out 75% of the privilege I had. And a lot of people are going to see me as something to be reviled, to be revulsed. It's like, why would you opt into this? Why would I think this is a trendy, fun thing to do? It's not. There's a lot of awful that goes with this. Coming back to this for a moment, though. People can't accept your opinions even though they want me to respect theirs. What are you talking about? You just brought up the Black Death for no reason. Had to dig, you mentioned it vanishing. Mentioned vanishing and it made you think of this.
I can't talk right now.
Hang on, let me pause this. Let's watch this person's TikTok. I don't watch a lot of TikTok things. I don't know how TikTok works, for the record. I'm not a TikTok. I am not a TikTok.
I'm doing hermit shit. I can't talk.
That's amusing. Oh yeah, we'll come back around to Tucker Carlson being a fuckwit in a minute, if you want to do that. Anyways. Stacey told me that our son's name is too basic. How can we make our kid cool and subversive? Darling, I know just the endocrinologist to call. Oh my goodness. And what did you say? So hang on, Vagabond. They stole Aboriginal kids from their parents and put them into white homes. That's correct, yes. That's another form of genocide. And there was another method of genocide used against the Aboriginal people where they found Aboriginal families and... What did they do? They found Aboriginal families and their goal was to marry any woman who, or any man, any person who had Aboriginal bloodlines to what do you call them? To Anglo people, right? The idea was to marry off Aboriginal rooted people to Anglo people to try to gradually phase out Aboriginal people in the country. Use a durian? Oh, what now? Fucker farts and lol. Yeah, since idiots gave him a TV show. He is a moron. But he's a dangerous moron, and we're going to get into why in a minute. Anywho's, there was another thing that you responded to, though. Who was it that was talking about? Welcome to social media. We're having a differing opinion. Must mean you're against you. Oh, yeah, that whole thing. Choosing to be a trans pansexual female. Yeah, it's totally a choice, guys. I thought being, you know, a chick on the internet was just such a cool, like a trans chick too, just because, like, not even gonna lie though, like, oh, you can't see it. Trans people fucking won out on the flag colors, man. It's like the trans flag is the best. Let's be real with ourselves here. The trans colors fucking rock. Like, can we just for a moment appreciate that color scheme? Damn, son. That's the whoops. That's the real reason I transitioned, was because of the flag. While having bisexual lighting on my transgender flag. Thank you very much. I mean, yes, true. The whole bisexual lighting thing is pretty good too. Trans and then bisexual and then rainbow, because rainbows are cute. And I also have a trans lanyard. You can't see it because my microphone is right in the way of all the stuff hanging off my my wardrobe. The recent NCAA ruling on trans sports. I haven't seen it. It's probably bad, or it might be good. I don't know. I haven't seen it though, so I don't have any clarification. I feel way more comfortable in your skin since you came out as trans. So do I. Like, that's the thing, is I like being trans. I love the fact that I am transgender. That is one of the things that I greatly love about myself these days. However, it does come with the caveat that trans people are distinctly an oppressed minority, and thus we face a significant amount of prejudice for simply existing. You like how the ace flag looks despite having grey in it? It looks quite nice. Yeah, not the sports thing again. Fucking hell. Yeah, I did do a video on the sports thing, but I might have missed the NCAA ruling. NCAA said, fuck your state if you pass anti-trans laws. Good. Awesome. Yes, trans and like yourself. You can do that. Board of Governors firmly and unequivocally supports the opportunity for transgender student athletes to compete in college sports. This commitment is grounded in our values of inclusion and fair competition. Sick. Sick. That's awesome. We love it. Biggest college sports organization recently ruled in it. They're pro-trans. Thank fuck for that. That's good shit. We love to hear it. That's what you want to see. That's what you like to see. Anyways. Let's talk about Fuckwit Carlson. Which is an opinion piece. For the record, this is an opinion piece. This is not a news article. So we're reacting to an opinion on Tucker Carlson, but I don't doubt it's... there's multiple different Tucker Carlson things here. So we'll do... Here's a title for you. Fallen. There you go. Fuck. I can't put Fucker Carlson in there. Tucker Carlson, more like Sucker Carlson. LeMayo got him. Radio Reaper, have a good one. You're going to contact people in your community and organize something today. See if you can sync it up with people across the country. Might not work, but you're not just going to sit around and fucking meme on the internet and do nothing while people are being fucking genocided. That's a good idea. There you go. More like Cucked Carlson. I mean, it doesn't really work. Cucker Cup, maybe. He liked him much more when he was played by Michael J. Fox in Family Ties. I wish I knew the reference, because I haven't watched Family Ties. At any rate, let's have a look at this first. This is, I feel like we looked at this. We looked at this video. Tucker Carlson... Oh, no, hang on. No, we didn't watch this. Sorry. We watched something else with Tucker Carlson talking about how the transgenders are going to destroy society or some bullshit. Anyway, Tucker Carlson justifies the idea of a full-blown fascist takeover. The Fox News host and a guest somehow conclude that failing to lock up Hunter Biden may contribute to Americans choosing to live under fascism in 10 to 20 years. Yes, indeed. This is not a joke. What the fuck? Stop playing your videos automatically, you cunts. For years, Tucker Carlson has used his Fox News program to flirt with fascist and white nationalist talking points. In 2018, the host described racial demographic changes in a Pennsylvania town as more change than human beings are designed to digest, after noting that the area is majority Hispanic. He also accused immigrants of making the US dirtier, poorer, and more divided, claimed that a flood of illegal workers into the United States has damaged our communities, ruined our schools, burdened our healthcare system, and fractured our national unity, and falsely asserted that the Potomac River is becoming dirtier and dirtier due to immigrants. On Thursday night, Carlson took these arguments a step further by agreeing with a guest, Jesse Kelly, who confidently asserted that the US will pick a fascist leader within 10 to 20 years. Kelly, whose past commentary on political violence has gained notoriety due to his fixating on the possibility of a second civil war, made the remark as the two discussed the Hunter Biden firearm debacle and accused Democratic leaders of getting away with double standards in the legal system. I think you made a really solid point about the sadness and powerlessness that people feel in the face of this. At some point we are going to say, why should I follow the rules? Why should I be a good citizen if they don't have to follow the rules? Carlson said, I mean, things kind of break down at some point, don't they? They will break down. They are breaking down, Tucker. Kelly replied. I have said this before, and I'm telling you I'm worried that I'm right. The right, like specifically, the right is going to pick a fascist within 10 to 20 years. Carlson chimed in to say that Kelly's prediction was right before the guest added that the US has 60-70 million of us. We're not a tiny minority, and if we're all going to be treated like criminals and all subject to every single law while Antifa, Black Lives Matters, let guys go free, and Hunter Biden goes free, then the right's going to take drastic measures. Think of how absolutely ridiculously messed up that whole statement is. You know, so, for example, Antifa, which is explicitly, anti-fascist, that's the point. Black Lives Matter, who are arguing in favor of, for example, civil rights, which they always have been. The Black Lives Matter movement is not a new movement by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that Black Lives Matter is effectively a new term for a black civil rights movement. Because clearly there is a blatant issue with civil rights in the United States, especially with regards to race. And the assertion that rather than work towards actual equality and actual civil rights and actually lifting people in these black communities out of poverty and actually having a scenario where a a black soldier, a black lieutenant in the military is not being held at gunpoint by white cops. How is that a thing that was allowed to happen? How is that an action that was allowed to happen in the last couple of days? How is that a thing that was allowed to... And these people, rather than move towards that more egalitarian society for people of all races, all colors, genders, etc., they would rather try to subtly worm in this narrative into the heads of the right wing that we should be they should be pushing towards a fascist leader within the next 10 to 20 years, rather than in working on maybe not doing a fascism. Crazy idea. Anyways, but we in the UK do not have a systemic racism problem, so says Boris, and he's honest. Oh, I know. They did a whole self-investigation on the racism problem in the UK and deduced that they're not actually racist. Cops investigate themselves, find nothing wrong. Why won't countries come together and clean up and help rebuild countries that people migrate from? And don't say but money. Well, there's a lot of money in the world. It's a roadblock that stops so much progress. Rewrote the report. The folks that they consulted are refusing to back it. Interesting. I didn't know that. There's a lot to get. There's a lot to... Honestly, that whole idea is utopian. I will say that. And utopia is, quite frankly, a very unreasonable expectation with regards to the whole, clean up and rebuild all those countries. Because a lot of those countries where there is, significant amounts of civil war and all that, it's all a rebellion situation largely, or a war situation of some sort, which tears certain countries apart, which it seems like Tucker Carlson and this Kelly bloke would love to have happen. This Jesse Kelly guy has gained notoriety due to his fixating on the possibility of a second civil war. I guarantee he wants it to happen. He wants it to happen. He's not just fixated on the idea of it happening. These people want it to happen. They fear the idea of a second civil war is the notion they put forward, but they absolutely want it to occur, as you saw with the January 6th riots. January 6th takeover, whatever it was. Carlson again co-signed the comments, while Kelly insisted it's about justice, that Hunter Biden is never held accountable for it, none of the Bidens are. But you would be, Tucker, and so would I. Concluding the conversation, Carlson said, "That's so well put, and you're absolutely right. We're moving towards actual extremism because they're undermining the system that kept extremism at bay." I don't think we can say that enough. I'm so glad you just said it, Jesse Kelly. Thank you. Anywho's. Up until this Tucker Carlson Tonight appearance, Kelly's most notable contribution to the discourse included one essay calling for the US to split up or else, and another fantasizing about Americans killing each other over political disagreements. This is what's so absurd. We shouldn't, again, I'm going to bring up my viewpoint that, most people do not, no one needs a weapon that's designed to kill someone, but these people are usually, very typically, gun nuts, and they absolutely love the idea of people in the streets opening fire on each other, despite the fact that they are going to make these statements about how certain people in society are not obeying the rules and not being punished for it. What's Frostmourne for? Stealing souls? It's not here. That's Zirael. That's not Frostmourne. There's nothing united about the United States of America. Honestly, it looks that way a lot of the time. It looks more like the United States is a loose conglomerate of separate countries that just happen to share an accent. Especially given, the president will do one thing and a bunch of states will do the opposite, just to be contrarian. It'd be nice if we could fix all those other countries, but you know what we could do in the meantime? Not be racist, bigot, fascists. Yeah, that would be a good start. Anywho's. There's not, yeah, what did I, because people are afraid of people who are different from them. Yes, exactly. It was always the case. Yeah, it has always been the case. Over 350 million people in a vast geographic area. It's bizarre, because, the United States and, Let me think. It definitely feels as though the US is really just a big conglomerate of a bunch of smaller countries that do their own thing. Like, what's the point of the presidency if the legislation that the president puts forward is just ignored? Anywho's. There's only so much country or group of countries can do to change another country without invading, which is colonialism. Or not colonialism, imperialism, sorry. Take North Korea, for example. Yeah, like the idea of barging in on another nation's issues and trying to fix it, you know, is... Yeah, that is imperialism, isn't it? Which is what the British did. They did a lot of that. US actually does have some really nice people. Well, yeah, it does. There's a lot of nice people in the United States, but there's a lot of people who really love the idea of there being a fasci coup and violence in the streets and stuff. You love the LGBTQIA plus community. It's great. I love it too. It's good. There's lots of good people here. It's fun. But yeah, the issue is, of course, the issue with the United States, of course, is that it's very, very bipartisan, politically speaking. You're one or the other. You know, you're Democrat or you're Republican. Which I know that's being very broad. Obviously, there are people who lie somewhere in the middle, somewhere outside of the Democrat or Republican thing. But there's a lot, like seems like a vast majority of the United States has just got this notion of like, you're in my political party or you're the enemy. And that's kind of one of the problems that America has with this kind of thing happening. Is like, it's almost like they very, very, very much want there to be another violent outburst so that they can have that whole might makes right situation. One side will dominate and then get put into power while the other side will be dominated and subjugated. And one side is going to assert their power through violence, which, again, we don't want that. Yeah, I'm a centrist. Fantastic. Oh, you mean LOL gaming. Yeah. And that was the system pre-Civil War. It's more federalized now, but the legacy of state semi-independence kind of sticks around. Yeah, pretty much. I am not a centrist, for the record. Just so we're clear. Hey, Catalina, how's it going? And yeah, the US does have a rich history of imperialism. It absolutely does. Let's continue, because there's more here. Yeah, the US, including one essay calling for the US to split up or else, and other fantasizing about Americans killing each other. We went over that. In a 2018 Federalist piece titled "It's Time for the United States to Divorce Before Things Get Dangerous," Kelly pointed to intra-country division on the issues of firearms, immigration, and religion to predict that sooner or later the left-wing rage mob will start coming for the careers and lives of any normal American who sees things differently. This is blatant fear-mongering, this segment here. This bit here. Sooner or later, the left-wing rage mob. Who's a part of the left-wing rage mob? Are you in the left-wing rage mob? I know I'm in the left-wing rage mob. This is why I deadlift. To get the rage out. The gay rage. Hello, Lictor. How's it going? Participant of left-wing rage mob. You can clip it if you want. Clip it, go ahead. Don't even question if somebody else has clipped it. Just do it. That's my stance on clipping. If you see a thing that is clippable, just do it. Just do it. I don't have a soundbite of the just do it thing. But I have that. I have a ding. Can I have some service, please? I would like a chip. One chip, please. Just one. I'm on a diet. So, is someone behind the counter? The service in this place is reprehensible.
Not happy, Jan!
Anyway. He further warned that right-wing Americans could be massacred. Oh my god, dude. Are you serious? Look at this shit. This is about the Jesse Kelly bloke, by the way. Thank you, Fallen, for the hydration. He further warned that right-wing Americans could be massacred in a liberal-led purge. Could I put the source for that Texas story in chat for you? Do I have it? I do have it. Hang on a second. Why have I closed my stories for the night? Nobody here plays games. We're all super serious and only do the news. I'm actually playing a game tomorrow. Here's the bill And there was, if you look up Texas Senate Bill 1646, there was, not that, there was this Pink News article, which we also went through. Anyways, as we were saying, that's the story I've got, at least. I don't know if there was another Texas story. Anyway. Anywho, so we come back to this. Kelly pointed, he further warned that right-wing Americans could be massacred in a liberal-led purge, writing in his Federalist Post, "America is over, but I won't see it go without an epic fight. The conservatives should fight to the death against an eventual socialist abyss that Kelly believes." Like, is the left talking about excess violence against conservatives? Are the liberals talking about committing excess violence against liberals? Yeah, is he fucking 12? What is this shit? Pure hateful rhetoric. This isn't Tucker. This is the guy who was on his show. This is Jesse Kelly. I mean, Tucker Carlson agrees with this dumb cunt, but this isn't exactly Tucker himself. Snello, Haley, how you going? Lynn, I appreciate you being here so much. Have a good time. Thank you so kindly for hanging out tonight. You know, like, personally, I'm just going to throw this out there. If there is ever a situation in which that I want to play a video game where I'm mowing down hordes of anything, Doom. Fucking Doom. I don't like the idea of playing a video game where the antagonists in the game are a representation of a real world entity. Unless that entity is fucking cops. ACAB. But, you know. Even the notion of zombies, though. You doing good, Haley? I'm doing good, too. Wootball, welcome to the Red Room. How you going? Even zombies, though. Like, there's an interesting discussion around the idea that the zombie apocalypse narrative... Excuse me. My throat keeps choking up. I don't know why. The zombie apocalypse narrative in fiction, and yes, Wolfenstein, of course, duh. Nazis are just uniformly bad. Mow them down like crazy. However, meaning to come in for a while. I hope it's going well. It is going well. I hope you're doing well, Wootball. Nazis aren't people. Yeah, they're monsters. However, the idea of the zombie genre, and keep in mind I haven't done a huge amount of research on this particular topic. Cruel Rice, welcome to the program. The idea of the zombie narrative is the idea that you're the good guy with the gun up against the uniform bad guy, and it's easy to just project any social group on the zombies. Like, the zombies are routinely used as almost a narrative device to say, look, I'm the good guys, and those are my political opponents, thereby it's okay to slaughter them wholesale. You know? It's this idea of how certain contrarian types in political spaces will outright call, for example, their political opponents, you know, groups of political opponents, the amorphous blob known as the left, for example, they'll call them sheep. You know? In the same space, you've heard the phrase zombies, I'm sure, used in the same context. Oh, all those people are so dumb, they're zombies, they're brain dead, and thus it makes it easy for them to justify the whole concept. It's a bit of a stretch, but I think there is a lot of politics in the zombie genre. Love the fit and makeup, thank you so kindly. I love this dress. I got this today in the mail, and I'm just like, oh, it's gorgeous. I have to show it off again. Oh, this is just so cute. Look me. Look at this. It's flowy. I'm wearing tights and Uggs for the record. I could do a spinny. I am gonna, like, when it's a little bit warmer, I'll wear this. I mean, I could probably take the tights off now, but then it's like there's my midsection, right? It just comes up like that. If I misstep, anyways. I don't know if you saw all of that, but we'll do it again because it's fun. Like leggings. They're not tights. There's a difference. I don't know what the difference is. There is a difference between tights and leggings. Happy gay trans noises. Politics are in every fucking video game. I hate to break it to you. Minecraft is political. Do we want to talk about the imperialist notions of Minecraft, the colonialist origins of Minecraft? Let's do that. Alright, give me 5, folks. We'll come back to the Tucker Carlson fuckwit discourse, but it's 10:30, it's halftime. I need to grab a drink. I always take my rings off, by the way, when I go to the bathroom. Politics isn't everything. For the next 5 minutes, I want you to discuss... Yeah, the Minecraft novel is about conservationism. There we go. For the next 5 minutes, I want you to talk amongst yourselves about... Sorry. We could just shit on Notch if you want. Talk about the white nationalist narrative of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I will be back in 5 minutes, folks. Don't go away. I better be hearing some fucking Skyrim shit. I better not be reading some bullshit about bullshit. Anyway, what was it? I have tea. I'm being responsible tonight. I'm not drinking the wine. Anywho's. Oh, that's good shit, man. Oh my goodness. Okay. Stella Noir, welcome to the Rogue Room. How are we going? Tucker Carlson's a dumb cunt. PVZ is actually a critique on the impacts of late-stage capitalism and consumerism in the gardening industry. I love that. Live hygiene. They originally weren't seen as the aggressor or evil, but rather as an eternal oppression. Fuck the Stormcloaks. Agreed. Bought tights yesterday for the first time. Maybe must say you're a fan. They are quite nice. Ulfric, honestly, I will come back to this. Let's just skim through this really quickly. Ulfric as Trump is a very good comparison. Very apt, actually. Because he's a big, loud, boisterous, and encouraging, dangerous personality. He's very good at putting ideas into his constituents' head about... I mean, it was a very different time in Skyrim, obviously. But he's most certainly encouraged outright fascist viewpoints. Such as, for example, segregating the Argonians to the docks and segregating the Dark Elves to the Grey Quarter. Just on a base level, segregation is already a bad place to start. The Imperials and the Stormcloaks are both bad. Both of them are not as bad as the Thalmor, and I generally avoid the Civil War for that entire thing. Skyrim is for the Nords, shouts the racist Stormcloak as he wears clothing made by an Argonian who totally wasn't a slave. Every time you play Skyrim, some random NPC will tell you to join the Stormcloaks. Never play Nord. Yeah, it's really bizarre that... I mean, it's fitting, but it's bizarre that as anyone other than a Nord that you can join the Stormcloaks in the first place, because they are obviously an outright, explicitly Nord supremacist organization. Don't even think about things in games as political. Everything's political. Sorry to break it to you. Yeah, do you just wander from stream to stream? You seem like a contrarian. MDHJ, thank you so kindly.
I gotta go. Still have to do some prep for tomorrow's classes. Thanks for the fun stream.
Thank you so kindly, MD, for the 100 bits, you fucking legend. Thalmor is pretty unambiguously an Imperial's colonial power. Yes, indeed. Skyrim can be... Yeah, it definitely can be read from a left or right-wing point of view. And that's kind of a... let me just come back down. The Grey Quarter, so cringe it is. It honestly is good in that regard. The writing in Skyrim is not necessarily top-notch, but it's not bad when you consider all the implications of it. There is a lot to unpack in Skyrim, and that's a good thing. When we can look at a video game and we can see all the political messages that are typically underlying. It takes a good writing team to be able to integrate political messages into something in such a way that they can be unpacked. Yeah, it does well at world building. Yeah, the writing is very simple. It is. Which sucks. Honestly, I feel like that's one of Skyrim's failings, is that it's got such good world building. It's got tremendous world building. But the world as you experience it with regards to the direct writing is a massive failure. Skyrim makes you own your choices, but it only does that like 2 or 3 times. That's the problem, is like there's no real impact on what you do in the world, unfortunately. You know, there's very few situations outside of mods that actually have an effect on the world. I do have to revisit Skyrim, but it looks like we're doing New Vegas. At the end of this stream, I'm calling it on this poll. If you have not already, Nick Cage, welcome to the Rogue Room. If you've not already voted on this straw poll, it's looking very likely that we're going to be playing Fallout New Vegas tomorrow night. Alien Isolation is bringing up the rear with 19 votes. But anyway, we are going to be doing Fallout New Vegas, by the look of it. If it's still in the lead at the end of this stream. It's New Vegas. It's decided. Don't censor the cunt word. Yeah, this is an Australian stream. The word cunt is not censored. Can only really think of the Civil War having any material impact on the world. And even then, it's very, very basic. It changes some guards in some cities. Other than that, or like certain strongholds have now got Imperials or Stormcloaks in it. You know, message held for hostility. New Vegas. But yeah. I wish Skyrim had a better Civil War and better story writing, because there's some really good elements there. There's some really good concepts at play in Skyrim, but the storytelling is massively let down. Guards and banners change, that's it. Really messes with the legacy of the Dragonborn mod. Oh, really? Biggest criticism of the Civil War questline is that the Empire feels like the only correct choice. We should have more flexibility. Hang on, let me just change the title really quickly. There we go. All video games are political is the title. Let's stick on this topic. Let's stick with it. The biggest criticism of the Civil War questline is that the Empire feels like the only correct choice. That is true. I will say that. And this is kind of the kind of centristy point. Is like the Empire is not good. They're just the lesser of three evils. One of which you can't align yourself with. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed that the Thalmor is not an option. Yes, indeed. I know. What the fuck? Why would I say that? Because the Thalmor is the most outright fashy nation amidst all of this. Can you imagine if the Civil War had a quest line where you could actually associate yourself with the Thalmor, perhaps only if you were an Altmer, a High Elf in this particular example. But I feel like that would be an interesting way to explore even more of the potential underlying political messages there, is if they actually allowed you to join the real Nazis and... well, the real elf Nazis, who were influencing the entire situation in the first place. Yes, I'm an elf Nazi. Unironically, I'm gonna buy some elf ears. I'm gonna be an elf streamer. Why do trans people like to just escape humanity? It's because humanity's fucking awful, that's why. On the topic of politics and video games in the Ace... Oh, yeah, I saw your mention of Ace Attorney. Let's come back to this. There is a character that is known for being a manipulative, powerful CEO. What's his and his company's name? He's called Red White of Blue Corp. That's great. Oh, my God. The Thalmor are legitimately evil and horrible, but you do love playing evil pathways. Yes, quite frankly. And thank you for loving on them earrings. Look at them. These are from a friend. A friend gave me a bunch of stuff. There's actually a bunch of earrings still over there amidst my pile of junk. That's going to turn into a vanity soon. I'm going to put a mirror there with the lights and stuff. And I'm going to like do a whole vanity situation. Because I do my makeup in that area because there is a light. Hi. That wasn't supposed to happen. There's a light in that alcove. You can see how it's blue. It's just almost perfect lighting for doing my makeup in. So I do it over there. But it's not quite perfect. So I'm going to get a mirror that has lights all around the edges. Oh, look, some artwork. Thank you, Draco. There we go. That's cute as fuck. Anyways, we'll stop talking about makeup and we'll get back to talking about the High Elves of Skyrim, the High Elf Nazis. Are they Elgi? Is that from Warhammer? Always a cat person or a red guard so you can be Conan the Excuse me. Conan the Barbarian as Conan is cool. Conan is cool. Warhammer Fantasy. Okay. If you read the books in game, how are your plots, by the way? If you read the books in game, you can... I just lost that. There we go. But you can play it as if they're just binary choices. Having played a dumb barbarian type and done it that way is kind of fun. Yeah, honestly, the... You going off, Foxcat? You heading off? Have a good one. One of the major failings that Skyrim has is that there's really very little you can do to be an evil kind of character, I suppose. Like, there's not a lot of very morally reprehensible stuff you can do short of joining the Dark Brotherhood. I mean, yeah, arguably the Thieves Guild, but the problem with the Thieves Guild is... well, actually, no, you know what my main problem with the Thieves Guild is? Is the fact that you go through that entire storyline, spoiler alert, you can get through the entire storyline of the Thieves Guild without touching anyone in combat, I think. And then at the very end, you have to get into a boss fight situation regardless. You have to enter combat. And that's another one of Skyrim's failings, is that, you know, big open world RPG, lots of choices allegedly, but you still have to kill things at the end of the day. And yeah, as far as politics go, as far as I've heard, Fallout New Vegas does ask a lot more interesting questions, and fingers crossed we actually get to play the bloody thing. Yeah, the Dark Brotherhood isn't even really that evil either. Yeah, like they're largely targeting really bad people. So you've got the moral quandary of like, I'm going out murdering people, which you're doing anyway, and the people you're killing are largely reprehensible, except for like a few targets who are like the little side quests that you need to do to progress the main storyline, which the Thieves Guild didn't do enough of. The Dark Brotherhood had a good notion there of like, in between your big assignments, you need to go and kill off a few little targets who are largely irrelevant. Easy assassinations, you just go to a location and kill whoever it is, don't get seen, whatever. I liked that idea of like, do some busy work while we set up the next big thing. But the Thieves Guild gave you busy work, but only really needed to do like, you only needed to do it like 2 or 3 times before the rest of the storyline just unlocked. You know? They do have you kill a hobo. You can justify it. I think. No, you can't. You can't justify it. He needed help. But in the context of Skyrim's setting, I think there was a little bit of empathy to be kind of putting him down, putting him out of his misery. I'm gonna put that out there. I'm gonna say he was just completely lost, completely broken, and no one knew how to help him. I think somebody put the hit out because they were just like, we can't take care of him. We don't know what to do with him. Let's just, you know, talk around Anger's Mill. Oh, wait, there's a different hobo? I was talking about the guy at the base of the mountain in the town who lost his sister, and his mind just broke. And the rest of the town always talks about Nafi. I was talking about him, not the other guy. Oops. But yeah, I personally think, you know, in the context of the setting of Skyrim, they're not going to have psychologists. You know, they're not going to have someone they can send him to, and he becomes a burden to everyone. And everyone else is looking at him as like, we can't help Nafi. We don't know what to do with Nafi. And it seems as though he's just honestly a burden on everybody else. And I think that's why I think somebody in that town, I've forgotten what the name of the town is, at the base of the 1,000 Steps or whatever it's called, the 7,000 Steps. What's the town's name? I've forgotten. I've played that game so many times I've forgotten the name of the town. But yeah, the fishing guy. Ivarstead, that's it. Yeah, I think someone in Ivarstead put the hit out because, yeah, putting him out of his misery. I think he was just an aimless, wandering soul. Honestly, I get the suspicion he was maybe even starving himself and was eventually just gonna pass away. And they were just like, look, we can't help Nafi. We've tried everything. He's broken. If you tell him his sister is dead, he absolutely loses it and can't cope. So I think that was their thought process. It's like, let's get the town together, pool our money, and just hire the Dark Brotherhood. It's a grim reality, but I think that was actually rather interestingly done. Even though ultimately Nafi just becomes a side quest. He's not even an important kill. He's literally a side quest. There's a bunch of characters in the game who, you know, you interact with them in some minor capacity. You do a quest for him at some point, and then later on you have to kill him. Spoilers for a 10-year-old game. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just realized. November 11th this year. Are we gonna get a Skyrim 10-year anniversary edition? I'm manifesting a Skyrim 10-year edition. Right now, Todd Howard. You got it in the pipeline, don't you already, Todd? You're already planning it. If you play the card game, I have not. You learn about the war between the Imperials and the Thalmor. That's interesting, though. That's good. God Howard himself. It's such a great take, you think so? I feel like it's a really bad take. But at the same time, I feel like it's just the only... It's either you let the guy starve himself to death, and, you know, go insane, or you put him out of his misery in that circumstance. Remember a similar instance in Dragon Age 2? There's a guy you're sent to capture and bring back to prison. Back to be put in prison even though 1, he escaped it before, and 2, murdered a lot of people because he's got serious issues mentally. And they come with 10th anniversary horses. There'll be like a gilded version of the iron armor or something. Some stupid little frivolous cosmetic. And they'll add in some more stuff to the game that's just quite literally microtransactions, but they're not really. The Elven fascists started the war by killing 100 blades of the Emperor, then demanding they surrender. Yeah, that's how... I do remember that. That's in Skyrim. That is mentioned in Skyrim itself, I think, to some extent. Did I hear what? Shocking new. You can already make Skyrim play like a modern game. Quite frankly, when I tried to mod Skyrim to play like a modern game, it revealed a lot of the flaws with the combat system. If you add a dodge mechanic to the game, it breaks it. Love the drip. Thank you, Sad. I have to be really careful in this dress because the girl's not wearing anything under it. So, fingers crossed, everything stays in place. Get a map that glows in the light this time. There'll be another Elder Scroll in the game somewhere and it does nothing. Anywho. Will it come with 10th anniversary horses? They took over Cyrodiil and the Forgotten Hero takes the armor of the king who dies in battle. I see. Anywho. All video games are political. So I have about 10 different combat and animation mods just for combat. Yeah, the combat in Skyrim is dreadful. Playing it in vanilla is... I should punish my children by making them play Skyrim on the PlayStation where they can't have access to mods. That's it, kids. If you misbehave, you are playing vanilla Skyrim. Meanwhile, I'll be over here with my ultra-modded version of Skyrim where the combat feels satisfying. You have a phone call you're dreading in 6 minutes. Oh my goodness, I wish you the best of luck. Like, every Bethesda Studios game is very bad. Yeah, kinda. It sucks in a lot of ways. But it is worth noting a lot of people got into the Elder Scrolls games because of Skyrim. So there's a lot of people who went back and played the older games. And a lot of people who just got into the franchise with Skyrim to begin with. And you have to give credit where credit is due there. But the franchise has regrettably experienced a regression of depth. Like, if you look at Morrowind, and then, like, you go all the way back to Arena, and then Daggerfall, and then Morrowind, Oblivion. As time goes on, you get to Skyrim, and it has become a very, very basic, incredibly RPG light. Like, you know, really, really RPG light. It's missing a ton of intense RPG mechanics. You still remember that orc you meet who wants to die in ritual suicide by combat dueling, which is hilarious because if you meet him too early on, he can fuck your shit up. The hidden chest at the start of the game with all the best armor in it. Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to access that. You're not actually supposed to be able to access that stuff. Anywho's. I think we're done with the Tucker Carlson thing. There is an opinion piece on Tucker Carlson that we could look at, but we're kind of just talking about video games and how they're political now, which I like this mechanic. I like this concept. Streamlined skills, which isn't the worst, but they took away classes, which is shit. Yeah, true. I do like the freedom of being able to just do whatever you want to do in the game, but I think they should have done more to, I guess... A few of my personal issues with it is that the different, for example, guilds you can join. I'm probably not coming to PAX. I won't be able to afford it. Let me think for a sec. The different guilds you can join didn't focus heavily enough on the skills you do have. So, for example, being in the Thieves Guild, you don't need to have a high level of sneak. You don't need to have a high level of pickpocket, etc., etc. Unless you're doing those side quests, in which case you only need to level it up a little bit. Mage's College is the same thing. You can get through the Mage's College with just dragon shouts, basically. You don't need to do anything else. Most political RPGs, The Outer Worlds, I wouldn't say it's the most political, but it's certainly very heavily political, as in the political messages are overt and in your face. But yeah, how is Pac-Man political without inventing headcanon? Good question. I don't know enough Pac-Man. I haven't done enough in-depth research on that one to be able to make the justification. There is a lot to say about Portal politically, specifically with regards to the nature of the scientific experiments, if I'm not mistaken, like the whole concept of these shady underground hidden experiments. But I'm not... Could it potentially have MK Ultra ties? Not really. Can make some dope headcanon, true. If the Khajiit there, you can do a quick save punch reload exploit to reset the chest contents out. Oh, yeah, the Dawnstar one. Yeah. So you can just exploit the chests in the game. You can exploit hidden chests, which are supposed to be mercantile inventories. You're not actually supposed to see them. Yeah, Portal feels very CIA-ish. So, yeah, CIA-ish. There you go. You know, everything that happens in Portal is supposed to be something that a regular civilian isn't supposed to see. So some like shady underground behind the scenes experimentation, right? Which we know happens. We are aware that kind of stuff happens. Metro series is political, especially the second game. Had a mini World War II in it, yeah. Again, like I said, every game has some kind of political message and political leaning behind it. Dark Souls. I'm trying to think of the political message of Dark Souls. Because there's a lot in there. Specifically the idea of rebelling against the power structure of the world or aligning with the power structure of the world. You know, you either lean towards the powers that be or you fight against them. Dark Souls is fantastic. Pac-Man represents overconsumption of capitalism and the ghosts of the third world countries that are abused and exploited. There you go, you did it. Spec Ops The Line is one I actually want to play quite right. I have not got it. Do I have it? I think I have it, but I have not played it. Do I have it? Dark Souls is phenomenal. Spec Ops The Line. I don't have it. I don't think. No, it's not in there. Unless, okay, I've got a lot of games that are S, so maybe I've missed it. No, I don't have it. Stanley Parable's a good game. It's not relating to the politics of the Stanley Parable at all. I just love the Stanley Parable. But yeah, I know that Spec Ops The Line is fucked up. I would like to have that as one of our future stream games, actually. Dropping shit take after shit take. Genuinely, there has not been a game to come out since Dark Souls in 2011 that has been able to match the finesse of the combat. Dark Souls and maybe Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. Actually, yes, you're right. Jim Stephanie Sterling did do a video about Dark Souls being political, and maybe we should watch it. But yes. Still wrecks your mind to this day. There you go. I've heard it's heavy. I've heard it's a very heavy game. Death Stranding caused COVID. That's correct. What about the Surge? No, not even the Surge. I think Dark Souls originated the format, or it didn't really. Like there's been games before Dark Souls that had the format. Bloodborne largely perfected it. From Software did not need to go that hard on Sekiro, but they did. But Sekiro is a tad different. But yeah, I feel like Bloodborne really, in a lot of ways, perfected the Souls combat formula. And I haven't played every game that's come out since. But what I've seen of Surge, I have not enjoyed. Like, I can just tell that I've played a bit of the first one, I think. Was there a demo for that one, or am I thinking of a different game? I did not like Nioh. Nioh's combat is far too obtuse and explicitly gatekeepy. That's the good thing about Dark Souls, is Dark Souls is actually easy to get into if you sit out and pay attention for a second. If you just look at what you're doing wrong. Whereas Nioh was very largely, it's like, you're going to be doing this single room for like the next 12 hours, so you better get some snacks. And that was the thing that really turned me off that game, is it went far too into the realm of just absolutely ridiculous difficulty. Love Dark Souls because you're bad at gaming. You play it until Ornstein. Stop playing for 6 months because fuck Ornstein, then pick it up. You've utterly forgotten how to play it and thus die before starting again. Ornstein and Smo actually, surprisingly, is not that difficult for me nowadays, which has always been the roadblock for me. Actually, funny story, my first roadblock in Dark Souls was Capra Demon. My second roadblock was Quelaag, and then, of course, Ornstein and Smo. And then after that, the unfortunate reality of Dark Souls 1 is it does take a steep dive off in quality after you get to Ornstein and Smo. Everything before that, phenomenal. But the second half of the game, or I'd say latter third of the game, by and large, it wouldn't, maybe second half of the game, I suppose. But once you hit Ornstein and Smough, that's like the peak. Dark Souls really builds to that peak and then steeply drops off. Especially given, you know, certain bosses almost require you to build up certain resistances or build up certain weapons or what have you. Yeah, Quelaag was really hard for me for some reason. I don't know why. It took me ages. She turned me off the game for a good long while though. But anyway, you really do need to check out Dark Souls. It's phenomenal. Need to grab some food. Remember, mods, don't be afraid to time out people for being cunts. That's true. Hey. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's illegal, Plods. That's illegal. Okie doke.
You are now one of us.
Thank you for gifting those 10 subs there. Can we get some W's in chat? Thank you, Plods. Can we get some TYSM Plods in chat? We'll chuck some party mode on. Ow.
You are now one of us.
That hurt it, and it's just telling Plodsky that you may enter the subs loud. Thank you for gifting 10 subs to Dopamine, No Comment Chick, Mulga, Plotwall, Zebra Cakes, Hollywood, Spooky Benji, Bat Cow, and Goat, Aimsky Doodle, and the Rooster's Hens. Philosophy Tube Abigail Thorne is transgender. Yes, she is. And she's gorgeous. Salty Coffee, I didn't realize you weren't already following. Welcome to the Rogue Room.
You are now one of us.
She's gorgeous. Look at this woman. Okay? Look at this fucking woman.
You are now one of us.
Can we just appreciate her for a minute? Can we... Oh, I'm clicking on my OBS. Oops. Can we just...
You are now one of us.
Can I thirst? Am I allowed to thirst? Uh-huh. When she came out, it blew my fucking mind, dude. It absolutely blew my fucking mind.
You are now one of us.
Here's her coming out post. I'm a trans woman! And it's just out there. It was just... It's not fair. She's not fair.
You are now one of us.
Beautiful. Love that for her. Her coming out video was amazing, actually. Very, very well done. I'm just going to... You're not allowed to see this. I'm just going to take my socks and slippers off.
You are now one of us.
It's stunning. It can even be argued that a specifically centrist story is innately political by the A side has been refused. Also, Abby Thorne is gorgeous or something. Oh my goodness. Plods, that's illegal, but here in the Rogue Room, we believe in rehabilitation, not in imprisonment for committing crimes. So we'll just rehabilitate you into someone who's not giving me so much money. Thank you so much. Oh my god. I don't know how to respond to this. Whenever someone gives me a ton of subs, it's... What do I do? What do I do? Yes, those are Uggs, and they are amazing. I've had those for years. They're so good. So warm, so cozy. Yes, love them. I'm not going to tell you to fuck off. Not legitimately. Fuck off in a very nice and polite way. But yeah, like, can I just say this? Somebody said this to me. I've forgotten who right now. Hang on, it might come to me. Aurora. There you go. Okay, so... Obviously I'm transgender. Duh. You can tell because I don't sound very feminine. However... there are a lot of people, and I did the same kind of thing. I just came out one day. I just came out with it. I wish I had the thought to put together a video and do a whole package of like, I'm out and I'm trans, yay! But no, I did it very lazy. I didn't do it anywhere near as performatively well as Abigail Thorne did. However, there was one person in particular, again, their name escapes me at the moment, who said to me, shortly after I'd come out and I'd started experimenting with my look and all this and started putting myself together and beginning to really feel in touch with myself, who referred to me as, get this, a bisexual's wet dream. Kinda love that descriptor. And can we just call Abigail Thorne that? Is that allowed? Someone I'd been flirting with before, admittedly. But yeah. Supposedly what people find specifically attractive is a body model your mind will pattern on between 12 and 16, which is why you like Lara Croft type girls and Schwarzenegger type muscular men. There you go. There you go. I did not know that. Which is interesting because I never specifically liked overtly muscular women, and now that's a thing I am very much into these days. Like when I was in that age bracket, I never really exclusively looked at muscular women. You know? I don't know. Anyway. Did a thing yesterday. You walked the 2 miles into town for an appointment full femme, then walked back again. Figured you were juggling 3 mental issues already. What you were wearing wasn't going to register, so you went with it. That's fucking awesome. Aurora, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. That sounds amazing. You just like big cocks? That's fair. That is, you can just like big cocks if you want. You're allowed to. I sounded different when I did the deep voice. I did, though I was very much putting that on. I can't do his voice anymore. Like the actual voice that, you know, excuse me. I can't do the actual old voice. I've shown a clip of me pre-transition on stream before, and I actually legitimately tried to replicate my old voice, and I couldn't do it. Let me just fix something. There we go. My little thingy over there, my little sub thingy, has gone off where it's supposed to sit. It's not being nice. Anyways, you like to slap men's cocks. That's your sexuality. Nice. Perfect. You like big women? There you go. That's good. Whichever. Speaking of witches, I really want to put together. I mean, this could work actually for a bit of a witchy roby garb. I need a witch hat. I need a witch hat to complete the look, and then I can be very witchy in this outfit. Today's supposed to be voice day. Training voice. Training voice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Like to hear it. Shall we read the... no. I don't know. Do we want to read some more news? Shall we read some more news? You're a pagan? That sounds pretty cool. I don't know enough about... I used to know a bit about paganism when I was a teenager, but I just sort of like... stopped paying attention. I've stopped largely paying attention to religion in general, which is probably a bad thing. I should pay more attention to religious concepts. Only if the news are from some more news. Oh. Am I not entertaining enough? How's about something from Gizmodo? Realize if you wear heels, you're going to be scary tall. Good. Step on me. Here's a thing. We'll do some Aussie news really quickly. Do some Aussie news. 'Twas a joke. Oh, okay. Paganism is kind of vague. That's kind of the point, I think. I think veganism. Veganism. Paganism is supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be interpretive. Which I feel like all religion should be interpretive. Anonymous ST, welcome to the Rogue Room. I feel like all religion should be interpretive, but the thing is, it kind of already is in a lot of ways. And that's one of the major problems with mainstream Christianity, is that it is largely interpretive, and you've got people who will be in a position of power who will use their own interpretation to push for things that are largely going to hurt certain groups of people. You can infer the rest. Anywho, let's have a look at this. Scott Morrison, who says not to get your info from Facebook, is now posting info exclusively to Facebook. In the past, Scott Morrison has used his pulpit as Prime Minister to tell Australians not to get their news from social media platforms like Facebook. But strangely, stop playing your videos automatically, you stupid cunt! The Prime Minister has had a change of heart and is now making important public announcements about Australia's lagging vaccine rollout exclusively on the platform. Awesome riding your exercise bike while listening to me. You're riding your exercise bike at the moment? That's cool. It seems like only yesterday that Scott Morrison was telling people to ignore medical information spread on Facebook. I mean, that's a valid point to, you don't pay attention to Facebook pages about the COVID vaccine unless they are like verified medical sources or things like that. But anywho, I guess it is hypocritical in this space. Always go to the official voice, always go to your doctor, always go to the medical advice, not to social media, he said at a press conference in December in response to a question about the COVID-19 misinformation spread on social media. This is a puzzling message from a government that uses social media to get public health messages out, something that is recommended by public health experts. The difference here, of course, is that, like I mentioned a moment ago, anyone can start a Facebook page, start a Facebook group or whatever, make it look legitimate, and then just spread whatever ignorant bullshit they want and coerce people into conspiracy theories, basically. Like, there's a reason anti-vax is such a popular trend. It's easy to coerce people into feeling like the government is trying to use this pandemic and trying to use vaccines to control them, kind of thing. When you were in high school, you had an assignment where we had to present a topic via a speech. This being a civic and conservative Christian school, you wanted to do a speech about how Satanism is pog. Turns out that Satanism is a pretty normal religion, so you just didn't do the assignment. As the topic no longer became uber offensive to your homophobic teacher. Lesson here, always do your research. Well, yeah. Always do your research, folks. The Bible is a terribly written book, though. No hate, collaborative books are rough. Well, true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Bible is shit. It's badly written. 3 out of 10. Anyway, even more recently, Morrison has doubled down by citing social media as one of the major degraders of respect. What does that mean? Which is why the Australian Prime Minister's pivot to Facebook has been notable. While Morrison has used Facebook as the sole platform for announcements before, specifically a late-night apology to Sky News for falsely accusing them of having an HR complaint against them, the Prime Minister has unusually used Facebook for 2 separate announcements about vaccines this week. The first on April 11th said that the government would no longer set targets for vaccine doses to be administered this year. It is not possible to set such targets given the many uncertainties involved, a post to his Facebook account read. Aside from the disappointing rollout, pundits also noted his choice of format. Political reporting doyen... What's a doyen? Samantha Maiden said it was problematic. This is a significant statement. It needs to be there on the PM's website for the record. Yes, indeed. That's absolutely true. If you're going to post this kind of stuff on Facebook, you need to post it on, official forums as well. This business of releasing something on Facebook is an issue, she tweeted. Morrison doubled down on this approach, however, with a Facebook Live video defending the government's vaccine rollout. Anywho's, thought Rogue BX was cheating when he saw her with another woman on Instagram. My personal bestie, who gives very good cuddles. How's this parasocial relationship gonna last if I'm running around with all these other pretty girls? I wish I was running around with all these different pretty girls. Dude. If I had the sex drive and no dysphoria, I would be such a slut. Anyway, just saying. It's an interesting decision that diverges from the Prime Minister's usual method of holding press conferences, releasing press releases and doing direct interviews with the press. So why is he doing it? Some have speculated that it's to drop disappointing news in a way that attracts the least attention possible. Interesting. Morrison has one of the biggest Facebook reaches out of any Australian politician. It's because he's the Prime Minister, you fuckwit. This week, he's only behind Craig Kelly and neck with Anastasia Palaszczuk in a total number of interactions. I don't know why that happens. Despite posting much less frequently, his live video was viewed around 50,000 times, not a massive number, but not tiny either. It also hasn't evaded attention from the media either. Mainstream media outlets have republished the text and video posts to their audience. Well, I suppose that helps, in a way. What posting through social media allows the Prime Minister to do, however, is to talk directly to his audience without having to contend with it being interpreted through the framing of critical journalists. Media outlets can still use it, but they don't get the same access to prod and probe Morrison over the expectations he set for the vaccine's rollout. Politicians using social media to communicate directly with voters is hardly groundbreaking. What is different is the Prime Minister's choice to do so during a pandemic when there's an imperative to inform as many people as possible about public health measures. It's telling that Morrison decided to turn to this as soon as things started to go pear-shaped. For the record, for anyone who is curious, the reason that Australia has had such a good COVID vaccine rollout is not because of our Prime Minister Scott Morrison, but because of the actions of the states themselves, the state, what are they called? What are the people that do the running of the states? Those folks. The reason that Australia has had such a good COVID rollout. The premiers, that's the word I'm looking for. Much as I hate to give any credit to Gladys Berejiklian, we have to commend her in some way because New South Wales hasn't had an absolutely dog shit run of things with regards to COVID. Sluttery is pog supreme. If you just read Jesus quotes, it isn't too bad, but that is kind of a dodge. Yeah, exactly. Gladys the Koala Killer Berejiklian, yes, indeed. At least under her leadership, New South Wales has had a good COVID situation, good COVID, lack of lockdowns. We're no longer under mask mandates, Not Aussie, but yeah, ScoMo does suck. ScoMo is bad, and honestly, again, I'm going to mention this every time it comes up because a lot of people like to refer to him as ScoMo. Maybe he's changed his mind on it because it has become rather derogatory towards him, but he coined the term ScoMo because he thought it made him more of a relatable dad type. He likes the term ScoMo. He hates Scotty from marketing. ScoMo is kind of like Basil, but I suppose it gets the message across. Skunt Morrison, not captured by the brain dead enough. How is the COVID vaccine availability to the native population, as it's a real issue in Brazil, the United States, and even Israel? Territorial and class distinctions is kind of insane. The COVID must be a universal treatment as it risks everyone with new, more lethal mutations. That is a fair point. I am not certain of how the COVID vaccine rollout is being distributed to native populations, and the fact that I am not immediately aware of this to just rattle it off is kind of frightening. It's like, why is that information not being immediately disseminated amongst everything else we know about COVID? You would think making us immediately aware of how COVID is being distributed to Indigenous people would be imperative, but here we are. Thembo, welcome to the Rogue Room. Cunt Morrowind. Canada's cases per capita was worse than America for the first time recently. Yes, indeed, I saw that. That is a fucking scary thing. That is terrifying. And I hope it doesn't stay that way. Fingers crossed. But, we'll see how we go. Alright. Which video? Giant udders. They're psychotic killers and they run in flock like a mob, murdering even alligators. Giant udders? And there's our little bit of, why are you still auto-playing videos, you daft cunt? Stop playing videos! Oh my god. Somebody seriously needs to make an extension for Chrome and Firefox and every single website that just shuts down autoplay on every website, period. There should be, I have to automatically mute every tab the moment I open the tab, just so it doesn't play a video and I have to hear the audio of whatever the fuck's going on in the background. Somebody please, out there in the universe, conjure up an autoplay ban extension, please. I'm begging you. I am using Chrome, which is a resource hog. I know that much. It's not very poggers. It's not very poggers. You got a new exercise bike you can fold up so you can put it away. That's awesome. I love that. I would love to have an exercise bike I can put under my... Well, unless it's like 2 millimeters thick. I can't really slide it under my bed. Oops. Anyway, the reason I don't want to change to like another browser though is it's always such an effort to do so. Oftentimes they'll give you the option to like transfer all your data across, keep all your passwords, and more often than not, it doesn't fucking work. That's been my universal experience with changing with transitioning browsers. Look into a NoScript extension. Forgot all the things they affected. Oh, true. NoScript. I forgot about NoScript. Any hoomst. We're not talking about video games anymore. I need to pick a title that's like always uniformly just like this gets the message across. There we go. News, vibes, and sword lesbianism. Well, yeah, we'll leave it with that for tonight. News, vibes, and sword lesbianism. Because I have a sword, you see. That's important. That's branding. That's what branding is. You got to make sure you have a thing that's iconic about you. Like the fact that I've got more shit up the top there that no one ever sees. Like my Dark Souls shelf. I'm so ashamed of myself, dude. I have a whole Dark Souls from Software shelf that most of the time you never see the cunt. What happened to the T-Girl, E-Girl title? Well, the brand has evolved. The brand has evolved. I'm no longer a T-Girl. Well, I am still a T-Girl, E-Girl. However, I'm now a sword lesbian. I like the phrase sword lesbian more. And I can't just go sword lesbian, T-girl, E-girl. That's too many syllables. Sword lesbian is catchy. It's snappy. It's zippy. What am I? Sword lesbian. Sword lesbian. It's like 4 syllables, but... T-girl, E-girl, sword lesbian. They're the same amount of syllables, so my point has no bearing. But I like the phrase sword lesbian more. It was only $150, that's not bad. But I am still, at the end of the day, a T-girl, E-girl. We can't deny the reality of the situation. I am a T-girl, E-girl. I actually did contemplate that as a username before I did the whole rebrand at the beginning of this whole procedure. But you know, I think that one's taken, and it's also just, yeah, it's not catchy enough. I want to keep the Rogue Room nomenclature as I approach my renaming day, which I'm allowed to do soon. I have to start really seriously considering, you know, what I'm going to change my screen name to. It's the 17th of May, so it's still over a month away before I can actually change my username on here. And I want to because as much as, you know, Rogue Bitch was my choice, Rogue BX was not. And I'm not hugely fond of it, but I'm just sticking with it for the time being until I come up with something new and catchy and whatever. I can't do Rogue Cunt. No. Talon, have a good, productive, and safe and lovely day at work. Okay? I hope you have the best day at work. I hope you come home feeling satisfied with the day you've had. I'm trying to, like, give you good vibes for your work day so you don't feel like shit going and slaving away under the imperialistic structure in which we live. Wouldn't T.S. Huntress be better as a bow and arrow? Is hotter than a sword. Hey! With a sword, I can deflect arrows. Okay? Yeah. No. I'm gonna keep my sword. Sword's a badass. Okay? Honestly, I'm sick of the bow and arrow thing, though. Rogue Sword Lesbian. I wonder if I just set my... I mean, I feel like the name Sword Lesbian is taken. Let me just try really quickly. I'm not gonna change my name to that, because it's too far off brand. Yeah, Sword Lesbian as a name is taken on Twitch. Oop, and I oop, and I oop, and I oop. Yeah. You totally appreciate it. Well, good. I hope you have a good day at work. Yeah, we can't do anything with swear words. Rogue woman. Oh, no. Rogue Wimixon. Oh, no. Oh, that'd be bad. Hello, Texas. Hello, Vegeta. How's it going? That'd be perfect. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. The rogue agenda. Hang on. Rogue Wimixon. We're not really renaming the channel right now. I'm just, like, I'm contemplating because on the 17th of next month, I can rename my channel. So, I don't really like the Rogue BX name, and I would like to change it. I do like the Rogue part, though. But at the same time, I'm considering to myself, my YouTube channel is Abigail Beck. I think Abigail Beck's taken on Twitch, though. So, I'm trying to think of something else. So yeah. I'm contemplating, friends. I'm contemplating. Because on the 17th of May, I am going to change it. Rogue BXCK. Watch them try to find some kind of justification to ban me for that one. Idiots. Anyway. It's looking very likely, if you've not already voted. If you want to have some input on the Wednesday night write-off streams, folks, Fallout New Vegas is winning with 23 votes versus Alien Isolation's 19, Silent Hill 4 The Room's 13, and Sleeping Dogs only with 4 votes. Kind of surprised. I would have thought, you know, some people would have liked to have seen Sleeping Dogs. I've not played it, but, you know, as someone who was a fan of true crime when I was a kid. Swords and strap-ons, no. First of all, I don't... Do you mind OBS? Stream Deck, both of you working in collaboration against me. Okay, first of all, I don't need a strap-on. But anyway, For a while, you were trying to recommend your channel to someone and kept saying Rebel instead of Rogue, and the post was like, that channel doesn't exist. Ah, that sucks. You don't vote, you just hope your side wins. Team Chaos. Wouldn't Team Chaos just be hoping that both sides devolve into excess violence and destroy each other? Sleeping Dogs is good, but it was free for a long time and a lot of people played it all the way through just because it's a good game. Well, that's good. Who said I'd be topping? Fair point. Anywho. Silent Hill 4 is great. I've played the demo of Silent Hill 4 and I enjoyed it. No, I don't like the look of Rogue Abby. It doesn't flow right. Does that make sense? Rosmerty, by the way, welcome to the Rogue Room. Rogue Tap, Rogue Tip, Rogue Top. Rogue Tupperware. I need a name that flows properly, you know? Top. Okay, Rogue Top. Yeah. It needs to be catchy. I think the Rogue Room is actually taken as well. If I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it's not actually. There you go. Spoilers. Abigail Rogue. Rogue Lesbian. No, I don't want... I mean, as much as I talk about queer stuff all the time, I don't want to make it like the brand. The Rogue Lounge. Well, the Rogue Room is already the name of the place. And it's on that little board thing there that's supposed to light up, but it absolutely fucking doesn't. That's it turned on. That's turned on. That little sign, the little light up sign, that's it turned on. It's a piece of shit. I hate it. I wish I'd never bought it. Waste of $5. Fuck you. You garbage piece of garbage. Rogue Rouge. No. Yeah, I thought about changing. I did do a tweet actually. I did post a tweet. It was just like I should when my name change is available, I should just change my name to Rouge BX just to fuck with people. Oh my goodness. Outlast was okay, but it relied too much on shock horror. Honestly, I'm gonna say that right now. Outlast relied too heavily on shock horror. I like much more psychological stuff, much more get in your head kind of stuff. Whereas Outlast was just like, look at all this grim and gory, gruesome shit we put together. Ooh, spooky, look, intestines. Like, I mean, I like gore, I do, but it wasn't really... There were parts where it was scary, but it was like, it was alright. Rogue Leftist. Alien Isolation was goody bags. Well, you can vote for it if you click that link a little bit further up. You can click on it. I don't need to keep the X, I don't think. I don't need to keep the X. I might keep it for the Lipstick X branding on the sub badges, but I don't think I need the X in the username. Kind of want to get rid of it. The Rogue Bottom. No, we're not doing sex stuff in my username, no. I'd love if I could just have actually just Rogue. But I can't. Because that's taken by somebody who is a partnered streamer, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, oh, yeah, they are. Never mind. I was going to say, oh, no, they're not partnered, but no, they are partnered. They absolutely are partnered. Fuck that. Here's a person who exists. You can't vote. Did you already vote? Apex Legends streamer, apparently. That sucks. The Rogue. What the fuck? What happened there? Did you try to post what like was... let me click on the straw poll really quick. You're only a solid 51 viewers away from getting partner. You'll get there. You'll get there. There we go. Nice space. That was the error message? That's weird. At the moment we're at 24 votes for Fallout New Vegas. So it looks like we're going to be playing Fallout New Vegas because this is over at the end of the stream anyway. You know, this poll is over at the end of the stream anyway. Rogue Den, I don't know. I'll think of something. I'll conjure up something in my head. But yeah, part of me is like, birds are dinosaurs, science. No, it says 69 viewers on my screen. Nice. Anywho, Watch will be the new Wednesday night game in the Rogue Room. If you want to vote, you can vote now. It was going to be alien isolation for a good bit there. Anyways. How's about a bit of news? Do we want to read about another shooting? Do I want to do another shooting? I did know about the blood clots, actually. J&J vaccine is on pause because it's causing blood clots. Yes, Sabasagi, I did hear about that. Yeah, maybe not more shootings. BLM, Black Lives Matter, fuck cops, ACAB. Let's clarify those stances right now. I don't think I can take another shooting tonight. Give a heck. Thank you for giving a heck, Catalina. Let's talk about Andrew Laming being a fuckwit instead. Andrew Laming, the guy who was a Queensland Member of Parliament, who... Why are there so many shootings lately? It's fucking atrocious. It's really bad. But anyway, what is it? Let me think for a second. Andrew Laming, the guy who got photographed... not photographed, sorry. The guy who was... accused of taking upskirt photos of women, behaving badly towards women, and saying he would quit politics at the next election, is now saying he's going to force the LNP to drop him. He actually outright stated after all of these allegations against him, which demonstrably prove him to be a really bad person, now he's going to come out of the woodwork and say, well, know what? You're going to have to get rid of me yourself through the electoral process. Which means he has the potential, and I don't think it's going to necessarily work out for him, but he has the potential to be re-elected at the next election. In a direct challenge to Prime Minister Scott Morrison's authority, Rogue Queensland MP Andrew Laming is pursuing the party's endorsement to run at the next federal election. Mr. Laming holds the safe LNP seat of Bowman, east of Brisbane, and has not withdrawn his pre-selection candidacy, despite last month announcing he would quit politics at the next election. Hello, Winter, how you doing? After being accused of behaving badly to a number of women. Mr. Laming was set to face the party's powerful candidate vetting committee on Monday, which came under fire last year for holding Star Chamber-like interrogations, LNP sources confirmed. The committee, chaired by trustee Bob Tucker, will make a recommendation to Queensland LNP officials who will meet on Monday night to decide whether to let Mr. Laming fight for his seat as part of Mr. Morrison's team. He is on leave after Mr. Morrison ordered him to undertake behavior change training and come back with a completely different attitude, completely different behavior. So what he decides to do is come back and say his attitude, his behavioral change is that previously he was like, yeah, these allegations are bad, everything I did was bad, I'm going to retire from politics. His attitude change, his completely different behavior is to come back and then say, oh, you know what, no, I'm not gonna. No, you gotta get rid of me. How about charging him with the fucking crimes he committed? That's a good idea. The CDC and FDA recommend a pause in Johnson & Johnson vaccine over 6 rare blood clotting cases. I mean, that's a good idea, I suppose. If there are other vaccines that are not causing blood clotting, rebrand to a workout channel. His name was Lemming. It's close enough. Mr. Laming, who is also being probed by Australia's election watchdog, remains a member of the Federal Liberal Party Room. Mr. Morrison has resisted calls to force Mr. Laming to the crossbench, which would plunge the coalition into minority government, saying he had already done something quite significant by announcing he would not seek re-election. Queensland LNP Integrity spokeswoman Fiona Simpson said the party trusted Mr. Laming would not seek pre-selection. Andrew Laming has told the Prime Minister he's told the party that he wasn't contesting, and we will take his word in that regard. The process of having another pre-selection has started, and there will be a The process of having another pre-selection has started, and there will be a pre-selection, okay. The Australian reported Mr. Laming could be eligible for a taxpayer-funded payment of $105,600 or 6 months' salary if he was disendorsed. Don't give the cunt any money. Please? Parliamentary rules provide a resettlement allowance to MPs who retire involuntarily by choosing not to stand for re-election following loss of party endorsement for reasons other than misconduct. An LNP insider said there was talk within the party that Mr. Laming's decision not to withdraw his pre-selection was not about money, but to force party officials to own their decision and get their hands dirty. You were taking photographs of women and harassing women online, Andrew. You fuckwit. It doesn't really matter. Oh, hang on. Orders within the party say Mr. Laming is delusional and believes he may be able to run as the LNP candidate after the Queensland Police decided not to pursue a complaint made against Laming over a photo he took of a Brisbane woman. Yeah, so fired. Yeah, basically so fired. They're giving him money for being fired. Fucking hell, dude. I hate politics. It doesn't really matter whether he has formally withdrawn. The president wants him gone. State executive wants him gone. They made that decision clearly when they reopened nominations, the LNP insider said. The LNP leadership voted 11-10 last month to reopen the pre-selection race in Bowman, with only one other person on the pre-selection ticket. Gold Coast woman Fran Ward, 50, is chair of the LNP Small Business Policy Committee and was the only person to put her name down to challenge Mr. Laming's pre-selection before he insisted he was quitting politics. Henry Pike, who ran as the candidate for the state seat of Redlands at the October election, and the party's honorary legal advisor Maggie Forrest, who does not live in the electorate, were also contenders. Senior government sources have said it was Mr. Morrison's preference that a strong female candidate is chosen to contest the seat in Mr. Laming's place. Mr. Laming holds Bowman by a safe 10.24%, having increased his margin by more than 3 points at the 2019 election. He has served the Australian Parliament for 17 years after winning 6 consecutive elections. Yeah, exactly. Prepare the penis guillotine in Minecraft. Imagine if politicians were ever actually punished. I mean, what's going on with Christian Porter at the moment? What's going on with the Christian Porter situation? We've just like... It seems like that's largely just dropped whatever's going on there. I haven't heard anything about him. The guy who was accused of some pretty heinous shit, like raping somebody in Parliament? Was it in Parliament? And, you know, that story sort of dipped off. I haven't heard anything about it recently. And that's the thing, is like when it comes to political people, they will try to make certain stories disappear as long as it benefits them. You know, the news cycle is so perpetual. We constantly hear about new stuff all the time that it becomes easy to forget about the atrocious stuff we were already talking about. You know, last week. What happened last week? I don't know what happened last week. What happened last week? Anyway. Yeah, well, how about... Yeah, we read that back. 250. Wait, that didn't work. That shit didn't work. Let's eat the cunt. Cook him and eat him. ACAB, by the way, for anyone who missed it. ACAB. I don't care if there's great cops. ACAB. And yeah, why are there so many shootings? Because your country sucks. Unfortunately true. Rebrand to... Oh yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to name myself... I'm not going to rebrand to a workout channel. Get some APAD. There we go.
On you. The Rogue Sanctum.
Thank you so kindly, Catalina, for the 250 bits. Oh, excuse me. I'm tired. I've had tea, I've had an energy drink, and I'm still tired. Like I said, I think I have a caffeine intake issue. Although how much caffeine is in one bag of English breakfast tea? Let's have a look at this. Is there a standard 8-ounce cup of English breakfast tea contains about 42 milligrams of caffeine. So, just assuming that the large latte that I had today was more than a standard 40 milligrams of caffeine in a coffee, because it was a strong coffee, I've most certainly had more than the requisite 400 milligram maximum. I have a problem with caffeine. It's the pre-workout, man. The pre-workout fucking does it to me. Because I have that before I go to the gym because I feel like a literal goddess with just such extreme power in the gymnasium. Yeah, all cops support the corrupt police system. That's true. That's how it works. They say one bad apple, but the saying is one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. That's the point. This is why we say ACAB. You know, just because there's a few good cops doesn't mean that the system is not absolutely flagrantly corrupt. That's the whole point. Your one good cop is like the good guy with a gun argument against mass shooters. You know? Like how cops generalize that all people of color are criminals. Exactly. Funny how that happens. Why is it okay for the cops to generalize, but not us to generalize the cops? All cunts are beautiful. No, all cats are beautiful. I'm gonna buy that shirt. Where is it? All Cats Are Beautiful t-shirt by Stephen Davies on Redbubble. By the way, this weekend, this shirt. I'm gonna buy this shirt. Maybe in a different design. I want to get like the graphic tee. All Cats Are Beautiful, ACAB, a signed cop at birth. I love that one so much. Like the Rogue Sanctum? It's alright. I don't know. It's not about the branding of the channel though, it's the name of the channel. that I'm still figuring out, you know? I'm still figuring out the name of the channel. I'm not quite certain if I like any of it yet. Like I've said before, I kind of wouldn't mind just going with Abigail Beck if I can, but I might find something else in the meantime. We've got over a month before I can change it. I hate that so much. But yeah, All Cats Are Beautiful graphic t-shirt. I need it. I need this in my life, and I might buy it soon because Twitch payout should be in a couple of days, and it's just, oh yes, it's cute. It really conveys the message that all cats are beautiful. You know. How's our poll going? Our poll's going pretty well. All cats are bitches for your dog to wear, so they stop going after him. Are some cops nice people? Sure. Did they join an organization that systematically suppresses minorities and commits acts of violence? Yes. ACAB. Yep. Rogue bitch in Afrikaan, Skelmtief in Icelandic, Fantotik, Macedonian, Lasna Kuchka, Punjabi, Daga Kukara. Really? Interesting. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, the situation with the ACAB discussion is largely that, you know, people of color don't choose to be people of color. The minorities that are targeted by the police system do not choose to be those minorities. They don't opt into that. However, the police system is something you voluntarily go into. You choose to go into that system. You choose to enter into that system, which is built upon oppressive policies, built upon oppressive ideas, and we routinely, especially in the United States, see cases of police brutality, particularly towards people of color. And that's not an accident. It's not just a few bad cops. That's the system. All good cops have quit. The only good cop is a cop who quit. Or we could get morbid with it, but I won't. The only good cop is someone who's not a cop anymore. The one who saw the system is bad and left. Was like, no, I'm not doing this. And you know what? That doesn't apply to cops who retired after having served their career because they still participated in that system to a significant degree. Cops who actually go out of their way to say, no, I'm not going to be a part of this anymore, and they leave the system, those are good cops. No political violence, please. Can we... No, listen. No violence in my channel. I will do a bad trigger discipline. Look at me. I'm being a good girl. No violence in my channel, or I will shoot you. There are so many better ways to help people, like they saw a Hollywood propaganda movie and decided to be a cop, basically. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of propaganda out there. Like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, much as I like the show, it's quite entertaining, it's still absolute outright propaganda. Marxist revolutionary spirit intensifies. The film noir private detective is the only good cop. Yeah, I like a good film noir private detective. Got any recommendations on that front? I need some good noir to read or watch or whatever. Never had a good cop interaction and you're a friendly person you'd like to think. That's the same thing with me. I'm not even like, I mean, now I'm a trans woman. Maybe my interactions with cops might be worse. I haven't interacted with a cop in a while, but every interaction I've had with police has always been very uncomfortable for a number of reasons. Especially my first major interaction with cops, where my best friend at the time stole a bunch of my stuff, and we reported it to the police, and the police treated me like I was the one who caused the thievery to happen. Like, it's entirely my fault that he stole my laptop, my sister's laptop, my PSP, bunch of games, etc. Like, yeah, I caused that. Thank you, bitch. Anyway, all cops are bitches. You want an All Cats Are Beautiful shirt that looks like it's just about cats beautiful. Cats being beautiful. That's what that shirt is. That's what the shirt is. Hello, Pentagram. How you doing? That's what the shirt is. Look. That's the shirt. All cats are beautiful. It's just about cats being pretty. Can you put a link? It's an essay called like Revelations from a Bastard Ex-Cop. Yeah, if you can find it. Yeah, sure. Have I seen Miller's Crossing? I've not. What are my thoughts on socialism? Based. Anyway, Recommendation: The Smile in Sunder City is a film noir novel set in a high fantasy world. Ooh, that's cool. It's one of the reasons I honestly like The Witcher, is it seems like it comes across as a bit of a film noir, detective thrillery kind of a situation. It's just got monsters in it and a lot more political intonations. That's what I kind of like about The Witcher, at least. What I've seen of it and what I've played of it in some respects. The cozy ones that don't have the Antifa aesthetic. But the dog whistle! The dog whistle! Dude, it's a dog whistle about cats. How good is that? How's it going, lot? What's going on? A Witcher fan? I do like it, but I'm sure there's a lot problematic with it that I haven't looked into too deeply. But I do enjoy The Witcher. A cat whistle, sure. There is, of course, the issue that the author of The Witcher is from Poland, and thus is more than likely homophobic. I don't know specifically, but Poland is a very queerphobic place. Very queerphobic. Wouldn't want to go there. I used to want to go there. I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind checking out Poland. No. No, I won't. Why can't you believe people support Antifa, considering that Antifa literally just stands for anti-fascist? Wait, he's based as fuck, is he really? It's just anti-fascist. What's wrong with the notion of being anti-fascism, given what we know of fascism? Thronebreaker rips, though. Is that the card game that they released on phones? Pentagram? I think that's what that is, isn't it? And when you say rips, do you mean it's good or it's bad? Why is the music so loud? Or am I just imagining it? Oh no, it's alright. I understand the problem, but having looked at the Toronto police strike back in the 1980s, you think removing police won't actually solve the problems. Really, the majority of all America's police problems are due to guns, much like the studies in the Vietnam Winter Soldiers. Into the Vietnam Winter Soldiers, the paranoia of the overarmed society makes violence happen at a vaster rate. One of the major issues with the police system is the outright employment of people who just want to be the good guy with the gun, right? Like we mentioned before, the propaganda angle as well. The media portrays cops as a really cool force. A lot of people just get swayed into it because they see shit like Law and Order, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, again, propaganda show. And there is a severe lack of education and training from what we've seen of the United States training regimen. The phone call's over. Welcome back, Chokin. And as a result, that needs to vastly change. Now, the Australian police system is not perfect. It's still part of a very institutionally negative system in a lot of ways. However, Australian cops do require to go to training for upwards of 4 years, maybe even longer. Pifte, welcome to the Rogram. How you doing? The Witcher does have some dog whistles in it. Poland is very Catholic, traditionalist, but several based Polish peeps. Most of the arse backwards people there are dying off from old age. Well, I mean, yeah, hopefully things change. That'll be a good thing. Hopefully things change. Assuming you survive to get into the justice system, the problem is cops are basically minor deities. They can't be meaningfully held to account. Yes. That's another one of the major issues. Is like, no cop should have the right to execute someone in the street, whether they are outright guilty or not. There have been far too many cases of a cop just assassinating a person without, no cop is allowed to play executioner. Quite frankly, I honestly, genuinely believe no cop should hold a lethal firearm, period. Unless they're going into an actual situation, and this is the problem with America's gun laws, is you don't know who's going to have a gun, right? This is one of the reasons that there's such a big discourse around gun control in the United States. Australian cops are definitely pigs too, yeah. But one of the major issues with the cop system in America is, they shouldn't have guns. They shouldn't be allowed to just decide who lives and who dies. But at the same time, they live in a society where there are more guns in circulation than there are people living in the United States. So it's more than likely you'll come across somebody who has a gun, and if your cops are unarmed and do actually validly need to defend their own life, if a cop is only armed with pepper spray and a taser and the other person is concealed carrying a 9mm or whatever, then the cop's going to die, more than likely. So that whole discussion becomes very murky, but I still don't believe that, the policing system in the United States is very poorly orchestrated. And there is far too much jump to the gun, quite literally, which has led to an incredible amount of unnecessary deaths and police brutality. Yeah. Wait. Rips means good. Okay. I thought so. I figured as much, but just looking for ways to support me beyond the stream. There's my Amazon wish list. No one's bought me anything off my Amazon wish list, and I'm super sad. I shouldn't have things on there that I've got a boom arm that requires you to have a desk. I don't have a desk. Why did I put something on there that requires a desk when I do not have a desk? Why did I do that? I also need backdrops for my next video. I'm going to have to find somewhere that sells backdrops. Or I'm going to have to improvise. You know what I realized I don't have on here? On my list of books in my Amazon wishlist is Suicide. Durkheim. I need a copy of Suicide by Durkheim. I want to read it. Physical copy, that is. The whole disconnect between what stuff like rubber bullets means it's just a regular bullet with rubber on the end. Yeah, it's not good, is it? Unless they're a dedicated, fully trained team, the police department has to call when dealing with a firearm situation. The Witcher has a lot of negative because of the same style person fighting the supernatural actually existed in the UK called Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder, who killed lots of people for cash, which kind of taints you to the concept. True. Yeah, that would be pretty not good. Tried once, but it didn't let me send it to you. It only showed your address. Oh, that's weird. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah. I don't know why it would do that. It's very weird. It should be... I don't know. I'd have to figure that out. I'll get a friend to try to buy me something off the wish list. I'll see if I can get Jacinda to buy me something off the wish list. I'll give her the money for it. And we'll see if it actually works somehow. I don't know what's going on there. The idea, of course, is having an Amazon wish list is people can buy stuff for the streamer or whatever. Already having a great time. That sequence? Which sequence? Remember, if you say something amusingly funny or whatever it is, if I make a good point or whatever, remember the clip button is right down there somewhere, underneath my sub goals. Hit that. I thought that was your cat. It's my cat. He's just outside the room whinging like a little bitch because he's not allowed in the room because he just jumps all over me. He launched himself up here before, grabbed onto the back of the chair, grabbed my arm, and fell off over the back. So I'm sure I've got a scratch there now. I'm sure I've got a scratch there somewhere on my shoulder because that fucking hurt, dude. Which parts of the current police system should be kept? Detectives seem necessary, but their priorities are completely fucked due to drugs being their main focus. True. Well, the drug war situation is very, very complex, and no one should be in prison for having taken or possessing drugs weed in the first place. No one should be in prison for possessing marijuana, period. When you get to the harder stuff, it becomes more complicated, but no one should be in prison for having had a marijuana. Anyway, no one should be in prison for having, say, an independent or like a... What's the phrase I'm looking for? Like a personal serve. A personal amount of any of the harder drugs. Nobody should be in prison for having possessed that either. But once you get into the situation where somebody has mountains of cocaine or methamphetamine or whatever, it becomes a little bit more convoluted, of course, because those people are contributing to a violent system of drug distribution. So that's another issue. But I personally, outright, nobody who was possessing marijuana should be in prison, period, at all. And the only reason that most of the people, especially considering how many black people are in prison for possessing marijuana, all of those people should be free, considering the rising of the weed dispensary, like legal marijuana dispensaries, which are largely run by wealthy white dudes for some reason. Privileged white dudes in California. Bit of a fucked up scenario there. has a lot of racial overtones, so cannabis is the... Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think I think the term marijuana stems from, like, Hispanic origins or something of that nature. I'm not sure. Weed, cannabis, yeah. It's legalized a lot. Most of Eastern Europe has, as it helps people seek treatment for addiction. Exactly. It's the abortion argument, right? If you outlaw abortion, then what's going to happen is not people stopping to having abortions. It's going to lead to people seeking out back alley abortions, which are going to cause them harm. So when you criminalize drug usage and drug possession, rather than legalizing it and putting things into the system that allow people to seek treatment for addiction, like you've said, that's just going to lead people down that dark path of taking those drugs anyway and getting themselves into trouble because they don't have the avenue to potentially seek help for it. And yeah, that's one of the major concerns here. Galvanize the base, though. I've heard Vorsh using the term galvanize a lot lately. I know what it means. I'm still not sure what you mean by galvanize the base, though. Billy, there you go. If you get high on weed, you get mad anxiety. But if you smoke hashish, you mellow out and can actually get a good night's sleep. Interesting. John Ehrlichman, the drug... Oh, yeah, the John Ehrlichman quote. This is a good one. This is a good one. In 2016, a quote from Ehrlichman that generated much interest and has been widely cited was the lead for an anti-drug war article in Harper's Magazine by journalist Dan Baum. Good night, Billy. Have a good one. You want to know what this is all about? He asked with the bluntness of a man who, after public disgrace and a stretch in federal prison, had little left to protect. The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. This is the major issue with anyone who's, pro-criminalization of drugs and pro-lock up everyone who's ever even looked at a line of cocaine. This is the issue. Is the entire drug war was fabricated. The whole notion was absolutely fabricated. When you have some argile, is that how you say it? Argile? Unless you keep drinking coffee or water, you get mad, head spins, and dizzy. There you go. Yeah, to strengthen a group. Okay, I think I get what you mean then, yeah. Putting a non-corrosive substance over a corrosive strong element, the most common galvanized seal. Okay, so I think I'm getting it now. I think I'm getting the terminology now. We're learning. We're doing an education. I should just become a teacher. The entire drug war was made by the Nixon administration, yeah. And specifically, not just, that's the basic concept, is the state had enemies that they wanted to lock up, and they wanted to demonize, and they wanted to turn into something that could be easily vilified. That's not where it ends, though. The prison industrial complex exists so that people who have been arrested for drug offenses and things like that can be sent to prison and then be put into labor that they don't have to pay for, i.e., slavery never went anywhere. They just pushed it into the prison system and said, oh, we don't have slaves anymore, except they do. And who are a significant portion of those slaves? Especially victims of the drug war situation. Come on, folks. Work with me here. Cocaine is the white man drug, though. It's stupid and pricey. Coke bad. Do psychedelics instead. I want to do mushrooms. I want to do salvia. Can I do salvia? To call back to slang, Abby Rips. Thank you so kindly. What I need to get is a Doom soundbite from BFG Division. Just like a 2 or 3 second soundbite of one of the major riffs, so I can trigger that every so often. Anyways, Abby shreds. Not very well, but I do have a guitar. I should learn to play BFG Division, don't you think? Or like Rip and Tear. Should I learn to play the entire... You're going to buy me 14 desks? Please do. Go to another dimension for 3 minutes. I want to try it. I've never done, serious drugs. I have literally only ever gotten drunk. which is just like a nice, cozy, just chill out and vibe kind of situation. I like when I'm dozy drunk, you know. I'm like, ugh. And I just forget about the world. It's good. It's a good feeling. I'm not drunk now. I haven't had any alcohol today. But I would like to try something harder at some point in Minecraft. I would certainly like to try hardcore Minecraft at some point. Gonna download a mod in Minecraft where I can try hardcore drugs in Minecraft. When you decide on a name, you can make a graphic. True. Although I like to do all my own graphics myself. I am very, very independent with my production. I like to do everything myself. So, might not happen, to be honest. I'll accept like fan art and stuff like that, but I prefer to do all of my own production. Don't think you've completed the alphabet of pharmaceutical brain manipulation, but there's plenty of time left. Haven't had a drink in 12 years. Thought it felt pointless. I can understand that. First day of Ramadan today. It's going to be rough. Yeah, how long does Ramadan go for? So what's the basics? What are the basics of Ramadan? Because I know Rami Ismail, was that his name? Was saying that during Ramadan you're not allowed to use profane language, swearing and such. That's one thing I'm aware of, I think. Unless I got that wrong. Had daydreams where you just go full Doom 2016 on people who pissed you off at work while BFG Division plays in the background. That is very, very reminiscent of Columbine. Please don't say that. Oh my god. Dude, some thoughts you should keep to yourself. Oh my fucking god. I mean, I get it, but Jesus. Been reading about Columbine lately. I'm sorry. 1 month you do not eat or drink from sunrise to sunset. Nothing you haven't done anyway. Okay. I understand. Interesting. Coke is for people with shit to do. Do not take if you haven't got shit to do. Honestly, pre-workout is the same kind of situation. Do not drink pre-workout unless you are hitting the gym. Okay? If you take pre-workout and you don't hit the gym, trust me, you will regret it. Pre-workout is designed with a number of different chemicals in it to amp your body up to perform. Sneering Chalice, welcome to the Rogue Room. And yeah, if you I've done it before. I've taken pre-workout and then I couldn't hit the gym. I couldn't get in there for whatever reason. I think either the gym was closed or yeah, either the gym was closed or I had something else going. I think the gym was closed, and I was like, oh fuck. I've now got 150 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous in my system, as well as a bunch of other little, micro drugs that just make you tingly, and it made my gut feel disgusting too. I felt really bad in the stomach, having taken pre-workout and being unable to work out. Fucked me. Your monkey's wife, oh hello, welcome in, how are you? Beta-alanine, I love the BA. I love it. The tingly feeling is fantastic. Oh, it's addictive. Flex on people like, we figured out intermittent fasting before, y'all. Yeah, quite frankly, the whole intermittent fasting thing is most certainly ripped straight from that. Because a lot of diet culture is ripped from a lot of other cultural inclinations. Like, the diet and fitness industry is very much a white people invention, which is, quite frankly, very reminiscent of the way Christianity came together. Nitpicking from a bunch of different cultures and then giving a new name to it and say, we came up with it. Columbine, straight out of left field. You did stress daydream, but still the implication there. Just saying. It's very, very similar to what Klebold and Harris were talking about when they committed the shooting in their manifesto. They talked about how it was going to be just like Doom. At first they would... I mean, I know you're not going to commit a shooting. That's just the thing that comes to mind. I'm smart. I just know things. I'm not smart. I just have storage capacity. I have a terabyte hard drive in there. It's got some of Wikipedia on it. Describe what it feels like for ADHD people to take Ritalin. Oh, okay. Munch a lot of blueberries. I should get some blueberries. Blueberries are good. Such a rare insight about your fans, and 5% of humans know that. I mean, maybe. I tend to, I'm working very much on learning and expanding my horizons with my my educational knowledge. I'm working on becoming one of those people who could probably go on a trivia show, basically. I'm learning lots of little bits and pieces. Is this sweater cute? Let's have a look. Bad days are part of a good life. It's kind of cute. I do like it. It is pretty cute. Look at that. What do we think? Does it have different colors? It has got different colors. Oh, the white. Ugh, not the sun yellow. The white or the gold are yes. But the sun yellow is like a ugh. Ugh, no. Oh yeah, we got Australians are increasingly frustrated at the slow vaccine rollout and they blame the federal government. Well, yeah. Your doctor gave you amphetamines. They do. The doctors do prescribe amphetamines for various reasons. So it's kind of amusing, you know. There's actually a drug in the medical system that is worse than methamphetamine that they give to people for various reasons. I've forgotten what exactly why, but they give it in much smaller dosages. I forgot what the actual drug is called. Federal government bad. Christian, why are you posting that emote in my chat? I mean, I know why. But I'd like you to clarify for me, if you please. I would like you to just, you know, use your capacity to type on your keyboard or on your phone device, whatever you're using, to clarify why you posted that emote in my chat, please, would you kindly? Got your PF vax on Sunday? Oh, I gotta work out when I can get vaccinated. When I can get vaccinated, I need to get my vaccinated. So most certainly don't get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, because I don't want to get blood clots, because your girl is actually susceptible to blood clots. Estrogen does that. The estrogen what I'm on, that my body naturally produces. My estrogen that my body naturally produces because I'm a biological woman. It was 5 milligram tablets you got for concentration since you got ADHD. Oh, I see. A friend of mine actually might be getting a diagnosis, which I think she's getting a diagnosis for ADHD soon or something like that. But it's kind of something she already knew she had. Like she already self-diagnosed. And now she's going through the medical system to just get it diagnosed. As well as other stuff. Which is, you know, that's got to be difficult being, I can't imagine, as someone who's been diagnosed autistic since I was very young, and has had the opportunity to learn about it throughout my, like, you know, knowing you're autistic, for example, dramatically helps you understand why you're different to everybody else, right? And I can only imagine being the kind of person who's like, there's something wrong with me. There's something I'm not getting about everything. I can't imagine being in that situation where it's like, you don't know what's wrong and you're a full-grown adult. You're supposed to have a grasp on things according to society. You're supposed to know how to function. And yet there's a lot of stuff you just don't get. There's a lot of stuff you just can't conceive of. I can't imagine being in that predicament. Because I am someone who's had my diagnosis since before I was even really able to conceive of what the diagnosis meant. And over time, I've learnt about it. Getting quite sleepy, so you're going to bounce radio quiet. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for swinging by. Hi, Aurelian. Welcome to the Rogue Room. You didn't know you were autistic till you were an adult. The trauma you have from that is still almost unnavigable. Yeah. It will be so difficult. And I feel like there's still stuff that I don't quite get about myself. Cat, shut up! Oh my god! You whingy little shit. Sorry I don't want you climbing all over me tonight, but you've been a bitch today. Leave me alone. You can see the cat tomorrow night when we're playing Fallout. Okay? They block news. Your girl just read that as they block New South fucking Wales Discord, so. NSFW now stands for New South fucking Wales, okay? Yes, my cat is out of the room. He's locked out of the room because he's annoying me. And I am very allowed to lock him out of the room because he's fine. He can go entertain himself for a bit. He has been very clingy. And I need him to give me some space for a bit. He's not being very cat right now. Country's only getting the AZ vaccine, which is linked to blood clots in some cases. Yeah, I think that was the one here in Australia that was getting the blood clots thing. And they shut down the production of that one. Oh. Is it the production of it or whatever it is in Australia? They're just slowing down. Or they're warning people against it if you're under the age of 50 or something. I don't know. What kind of things do I not get? New South fucking Wales, man. Join the revolution. No New South Wales. New South Wales has seceded. What do I not get autistically? What do I not get? That's a very good question. Oh my god, I don't even know. Because, like, one of the major things that, quite frankly, played into how I was so good at pretending to be a man for 31 years, or a boy, or whatever, is all of my behaviors are intrinsically mimicked. I do a lot of mimicry to form my own persona, which I think we all do in a lot of ways, but I'm intensely aware of the fact that I'm doing it. I'm intensely aware of the fact that I mimic. I'm performative. Yes, exactly. So, even my stream here, which is fairly, I guess it's original. What you're looking at here is original. Like, this is my setup. This is my bedroom. That's my Witcher sword, my emotionally exhausted blanket, my collection of stuff, my lighting. But all of this is mimicked from other streamers I've seen. Pixel Smixel is a notable example of someone whose stream I've seen and I'm just like, yeah, her vibe, I like her vibe. I'm going to take elements of that. I've taken elements of other streamers. Obviously, the ContraPoints influence, I pick and choose and I say, I'm going to integrate this part of this person, this part of this person. All these little things so that I can function. And I did that for a long time before I came out as well. I looked at everything that the mans was doing, all of those mans out there, and I said, okay, I'm going to take that bit, I'm going to take that bit, and then when I put all of it together, I've got a nice little character I can play that everybody thinks is a normal person. But one of the things that's different now compared to back then is that I would get to the end of my day of masquerading and I'd be completely drained. The emotionally exhausted thing was very relevant back then too. I'd get to the end of my day of performativity and I'd just be completely like, there's none of me left. Out of spoons. Doing a video essay on influences in a few weeks. Thank you for giving you an idea. Fantastic, Kiara. You're welcome. Fam wants you to get checked for autism. You don't know how you feel about it. It's tricky. It's complicated. You were 23 before you were diagnosed with autism, Hyrealian. Yeah. I can't imagine being diagnosed as an adult. Shut up! Oh my god! Go away! Go do something! Go sleep. That's what cats do. You just sleep. Go sleep! Cat bad. Can we get some cat bad in the chat? Leave me alone! Oh my god. Because the door's closed, he's angry. He's a very loud cat. But I mean, that's not entirely what autism is. More severe autism, I mean, for me, there's a lot of things that I'm ashamed of about myself. There's a lot of things that I cringe about myself because I know they're very autistic behaviors. Anyway, and like buying the sword, for example. But a lot more severe autistic people, you might have heard of the concept of ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis, which takes more severe cases of autistic children and tries to teach them... shut up! Jesus. I'm trying to talk and he's just meowing at me. What was I saying? Applied Behavioral Analysis, I think that's what it's called, is essentially conversion therapy, but for autistic kids. So the idea behind ABA is that you take an autistic kid, and in some cases, right, they will have a child sit with this therapist doing this treatment, therapist in quotations, torturer is the more likely term you should be using, and they will be teaching this kid how to behave and how to function as a normal person in society. And much like the way I've mimicked things, what these autistic kids pick up from it is not, okay, I now understand the way normal people behave. A lot of autistic kids have very unusual behaviors that are often seen from someone who's not autistic or someone who's maybe what they call higher functioning autistic, which I believe is now considered to be not a nice term to use. But people will look at those particular behaviors and they will deduce in their heads, oh, that's weird, that's unusual, why is that person doing that? And ABA is supposed to curb those kinds of behaviors, but all it ends up doing is putting ideas into the autistic child's head that it's like, okay, if I want to be seen as accepted, I have to mimic these things and thus people will see me as normal. But there's a particular case I recall reading about where this kid understood how to greet a person, go up, shake their hand, say hello, look them in the eyes, and once they got past that point, they would just run away, go back to their family, whatever they would do. They knew the process, they knew how to act out the part, and then it just stopped. There was nothing beyond that point. They knew how to put on that little performance, and then they couldn't do anything else. They couldn't interact, they couldn't talk to the person, they couldn't engage in normal human behavior. So yeah, the idea of ABA is that autism can be fixed, but it's something that, like, autism is not like cancer, which is what Autism Speaks likes to compare autism to. They like to treat autism as this thing that can be cured, can be treated out of existence, can make your kid normal and functional, but the reality is it simply cannot. There's no way to treat this. It's not something that autistic kids should be ashamed of either. You know, autism is a very, very complex and convoluted thing that a lot of people do not understand. And yes, improv's a problem, yeah. Always just been called Asperger's, which you've understood to be high functioning. Well, the reason we don't use the phrase, we don't use the phrase Asperger's anymore either. Because Hans Asperger, I think it was Hans Asperger, was his name, was a Nazi. He conducted experiments which led to the discovery of what we now understand to have previously been called Asperger's syndrome, but yes, is now just referred to as high functioning autism. So don't use Asperger's anymore. I've been trying to tell ASD, autism spectrum disorder, is the way to phrase it, because there is a spectrum of behaviors that fall under autism. Some people are considered to be like higher functioning, and some people are considered to be lower functioning. Some people are savant autistics. Some people are... There's a lot to unpack here. Might be autism type 2, yeah. They're not aware that autism... Are they not aware that autism is a genetic fault? As far as you're aware, it can be managed but not cured. And the management is the problem, right? The management of it is the problem. And I mean, some people can voluntarily manage it. I voluntarily manage my autism in such a way that, you know, I know to look people in the eyes when I'm talking to them, for example. But it's something that I am acutely aware of. When I'm looking you in the eyes and I'm having a chat with you, I am 100% aware of the fact that I'm doing that manually. I am choosing to look you in the eyes when I'm talking to you. It's not something I do naturally. I'm actively looking at the camera right now, which is honestly like the camera is just another eye. It's another eye that I'm looking at, and I'm choosing to do it in that circumstance, which is why I like this format of my cameras over there. So like when I look at the camera, it's a rare occasion. I don't do it all the time. But I actively decide to do those kinds of behaviors, those normal behaviors. Yeah, I hate looking people in the eyes too. It is unsettling. Yeah, there's a lot about autism that a lot of people don't realize. And it's unfortunate. A lot of people have preconceptions about autism. And yeah, it's awkward. It's difficult. You are now breathing manually. Fuck you! Actually, I do regularly breathe manually because when I'm in the gym, especially lately, I'm trying to work on controlling my breathing. Breathe in when you are doing a concentric movement. So like, I think it's concentric. There's concentric movements in the gym and there's eccentric moves or eccentric moves. And I think concentric is, say, if I'm bicep curling, when you're flexing the muscle, when you're bringing the weight to you, for example. So when you breathe in, when you breathe out is when you're relaxing the muscle. So there's that thing. You have a lung disease? Well, that wouldn't help. That certainly wouldn't help. One thing you hate about normal people is that they lie so much. Yes, true. There's a lot of lying going on. Some people you can see right through it. Dude, but the joke still stands true. It's a good one. Oh, goodness me. That was a good chat. I don't often touch on the autism thing, and I have been contemplating doing some kind of an autism awareness stream. Autism awareness charity stream. We got to pick a charity that is actually pro-autism, pro-care of autistic kids. Thank you for the posture check. I'm sitting here with my leg just sitting up on my chair, folded over, and it's really awkward and difficult. Took you a long time to figure out people were lying. I mean, some people have a perception of if someone's lying or whether they are or not. So, you know. Oh, thank you, Botwick, for telling everybody about me. Eponymously not known as Rogue BXTCH. That's not correct anymore. We have to change it. Let me change it. And fuck Autism Speaks, absolutely. Let me change that really quick. I think that's also the same in my actual... Oh no, I've changed it in the command version, but the timer version hadn't been updated. At any rate, there we go. Ever worry about the overlap with ASD and being trans will ever become a TERF talking point? I think it already is. It's just not as common a talking point that we hear. But I have heard that there is a correlation between autism and being trans. I'm not saying there's necessarily a causation, because I'm sure there are neurotypical people who are transgender. But yeah, I think that has already become a talking point. And then once you get into that, you get into the overlap with the anti-vaxxers who believe that autism is caused by vaccines. So there's probably an overlap between anti-vaxxers and TERFs, and it just gets into a whole mess. We call that intersectionalism. Or intersectionality, sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm sniffling again. Is Oz pretty vaccine hesitant? No, it's not vaccine hesitant. We've just got a really slow rollout. There are anti-vaxxers in the country, of course, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I don't think it's that severe of an issue in Australia. It's one of those things where they're a loud minority. You know, they're a big obnoxious. I mean, they're an obnoxious group of people who are not really that prominent, I guess. But they do crop up. Same with the white nationalists. It's like there are literal neo-Nazis in Australia who were flying Trump flags. Trump isn't in Australia, you dickheads. I doubt he cares that Australia exists. But you know, there's certain fringe political groups, and I think anti-vaxxers are definitely fringe. Bimbo vaccine. I mean, I got my vaccine and look what happened. I didn't get my vaccine yet. And yes, fuck Autism Speaks. Always fuck Autism Speaks. People flying upside down Canadian flags? Wait, really? What? Really? Why are they doing that though? Alright, I may raid someone. Can we raid Thamer Sophie, who's doing some editing? Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to raid Sophie? You know what I'm really hoping to do one day. And I don't see them online at the present, but one of these days, if I see Jim Sterling online, I don't care who you recommend to me, we're raiding Jim Sterling. If that does indeed happen. There you go, Sol. There you go, mate. Sapphire Rife, how's it hanging? What's going on? One of these days we are raiding Jim Sterling. We're gonna do it. Okay? As soon as I know when they stream. Which I don't currently know when they stream. I think earlier today I was looking, it's like, they were live 12 hours ago. But it's like, that doesn't really help me. Maybe Jim Sterling can raid me. That'd be nice. Not gonna happen, but that'd be nice. According to Flat Earthers, Australia doesn't exist. But yeah, we're up late tonight. We're doing a late one. I could keep going, but I need to pee. I really need to pee. So I'm thinking I might take off. We might jet off, I reckon. How's about we find someone to harass? I'm looking at my list of people that I've raided, and I'm like, I've raided a bunch of these people recently. I don't want to raid the same people too frequently. I want to vary it up a bit. What about Cat Earthers? You're summoning your friends, we're working on it. Summoning your friends, wait for what? As a group on FB called Australia is an elaborate hoax. I feel like that'd have to be a meme group, right? That'd have to be a meme group. I feel like they wouldn't be serious. Like it'd be a big gag. Let me see. Who can we harass? Who can we torment? There's the Australia doesn't exist and other uncomfortable truths. Bedsore is a good person to raid. Who's that? Let's have a gander. Is this like a, just a, oh, they're doing Tetris 99. Okay. Excusez-moi. Vaccines rule your social media drools or something in that zeitgeist. Chill streams playing Tetris. Sounds pretty vibey. Let me see who else is on. Because I'm feeling lazy and I'd like to raid someone I'm familiar with. We could raid Grizzly, but again, I think I raided him recently. Gory's playing Valheim. That'd be pretty good. Let's raid Gory. Gory's always fun. If I can do the raid command, that'd be good. There we go. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Sir Johnny, welcome to the Rogue Room. Thank you so kindly for following. Tomorrow will be gaming stream. It looks like we're doing. Don't vote on this poll because any further votes on this are not gonna happen. Okay, I think it's decided it's New Vegas. So tomorrow's New Vegas. That's it. Okay, you can vote. You can outvote New Vegas now all you want. It's not gonna count. New Vegas has been decided. Alchemist, how you doing? New Vegas has been decided. Oh, we didn't even get into like the Ashley Roboto thing or a kid shooting another kid. Anyway, no more shootings. Please stop shooting people. We're going to go raid not Ashley Roboto. We're not going to raid Ashley Roboto. We're going to raid Gory Asylum, who's playing some Valheim. Looks like a lot of fun. I think she's in the Black Forest. Oh, no, this looks like the swamp that I've heard of. And if you've not already followed my Twitter, joined my Discord, sub to my Facebook, my YouTube, Abigail Beck, Instagram, and yes, there is a Facebook page if you would like to follow it. For some reason, tomorrow we'll be doing Fallout New Vegas and critically analyzing all of the subject matter that goes into it. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I love your faces. I will see you when I'm looking at you. Ta-ta, folks. Conversational Dynamo!